Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Byju's exam prep. Am I audible and visible? Good evening, everyone. Am I audible and visible? Good evening, Simran, Ankush, Brajneet. Do you hear me? Do you see me? Yeah, thank you. Let some more people join in and then I'll begin. Good evening, Chandrakant, Ankush, Meshak, Anushka, Sudhanshu, Sharmi. Vijay.kumar@byju's.com. That's my mail address, Ankita. Yeah, good evening, Ankita, Rupa. Right. So yesterday we completed the Mughal Empire and Marathas. We discussed the questions also, and then I began with Vijayanagara, also Suri dynasty. So I've completed Mughal Empire, then of course Marathas and the Suri dynasty yesterday, and I began with Vijayanagara. I gave you an overview of the Vijayanagara Empire. Just to quickly recap, the kingdom of Vijayanagara was established by two brothers, Harihara and Bukka, in the year 1336. It was established in the year 1336. We have seen that. It lasted till 1648 under four dynasties. Four dynasties totally ruled Vijayanagara: the Sangama, the Saluva, Tuluva, and the Arabidu dynasties, respectively. So Vijayanagara was established in 1336, and in the vicinity of Vijayanagara, another kingdom was established in the year 1347. That was the Bahamani kingdom. Bahamani kingdom, and the founder of the Bahamani kingdom was a person called Hassan Gangu. And these two kingdoms became adversaries. They fought over three areas: the Krishna Tungabhadra basin or the Raichur Doab, then the Krishna Godavari Delta, and the Konkan coast. They fought over these three areas. And later, the Bahamani kingdom split up into five splinter states, that is Bijapur, Golconda, Ahmednagar, Bidar, and Birar. Now, we have a number of information for the study of Vijayanagara. A number of sources are there to reconstruct the history of Vijayanagara. We have literary sources, both foreign and indigenous. A number of foreign travelers visited Vijayanagara when it was existing, and these foreign travelers from Portugal, from Africa, from Italy, from Russia, etc., in their own language, speak highly about Vijayanagara kingdom. They give us information about the political, social, economic, and other conditions of Vijayanagara, and and that is a very authentic source of information for the study of Vijayanagara. We have also indigenous sources, indigenous literary sources. A number of scholars have written about Vijayanagara in Kannada language, in Telugu language, and also in Sanskrit. And the Vijayanagara kings patronized these three languages: Kannada, Telugu, and Sanskrit as such. And we have a number of information from these indigenous scholars and writers. Then, of course, we have archaeological sources, and among the archaeological sources, we have inscriptions, a number of inscriptions issued by various Vijayanagar kings, and they give us information about the genealogy of a particular dynasty, the important achievements of those kings, etc. Coins also give us information about Vijayanagara. The Vijayanagar kings issued gold, silver, and copper coins. We'll come to the coins in some time. So we have numismatic sources for the study of Vijayanagara, and of course, a number of temples were built and they're found in present-day Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, as well as Andhra. And these temples also give us a lot of information about Vijayanagara. So yesterday I have given you an overview. We were discussing the origin of Vijayanagara. There are two theories: the Telugu origin theory and the Kannada origin theory. Yesterday I spoke about the Telugu origin theory, but I'll recap again. I'll repeat it again. So let's make a survey of the PPTs till wherever we have done, and then I'll continue the topic further. Yeah, so Bhimare, it is a boar. You can see here on your screen, you can see the emblem of a boar. So basically, the Vijayanagar kings were Vishnu worshippers. So boar, that is Varaha, the boar incarnation of Vishnu, boar incarnation of Vishnu. So just as the Gupta kings were Vishnu worshippers, even the Vijayanagar kings were Vishnu worshippers, most of them. So you have a boar, facing left, So this is the emblem of the Vijayanagar kings. Right. Now, I gave an introduction to this topic. The emperor at Delhi was Muhammad bin Tughlaq. And in the last decade of the rule of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, a number of rebellions took place. I told you 34 rebellions took place all over the Tughlaq Empire, and 27 of them took place in the south itself. And a number of independent kingdoms were established. And one among the kingdoms which was established in the south during the time of Muhammad bin Tughlaq was Vijayanagara, established by two brothers, Harihara and Bukka. So we'll talk about the theories as regards the origin of Vijayanagara. We have two theories, the Telugu and the Kannada origin theory. We have various sources for the study of Vijayanagara. What are the reasons for the growth of Vijayanagara Empire? Dynasties which ruled this kingdom, four dynasties, Sangama, Saluva, Tuluva, and Aravidu dynasties, and of course the political history of this particular kingdom. So Robert Sewell's book, A Forgotten Empire, yesterday I spoke about it. I told you till 1900, nobody knew about Vijayanagara. But then we have this British writer called Robert Sewell who collected travelogues of two Portuguese visitors to Vijayanagara. These were, of course, Fernão Nunes and Domingo Paz. So he collected the travelogues of Domingo Paz and Fernão Nunes, and he read those travelogues, which were basically written in Portuguese language, and he translated them into English. And he wrote a book called A Forgotten Empire. And this particular book rekindled the lost memory of Vijayanagara. So Vijayanagara was established on the banks of the river Tungabhadra, which is a tributary of the river Krishna. So it is a tributary of the river Krishna. It was established on the banks of the Tungabhadra by Harihara and Bukka. And Hampe was its capital. Hampi, present-day Bellary district. It is located in present-day Bellary district of Karnataka. So Hampe was the capital of the Vijayanagar rulers, Hampi. So they fought over, the Vijayanagar kings and the Bahamani sultans fought over three areas, as we have seen, the Tungabhadra Dome or the Raichur Dome, then the Krishna Godavari Delta and the Konkan coast or Marathwada. Right? Now, the Vijayanagar Bahamani conflict was begun by Bukka. It was in 1367 when he conquered Mudukal. So he enters Mudukal, this Bukka the first, and then he conquers Mudukal. And that resulted in the beginning of conflict between the Vijayanagar and Bahamani rulers. And of course, you have a retaliation. Muhammad Shah Bahamani entered the Vijayanagar territories, defeated Bukka, but he could not capture him, nor could he capture the city of Hampe, or the capital of Vijayanagar kings. So I'll talk about it. We will come to that in some time. So here, the greatest of the Vijayanagar rulers was Krishnadevaraya, Sri Krishnadevaraya, who belonged to the Tuluva dynasty. And then I told you that after Krishnadevaraya, what are the developments? What happened? How the Aravidu dynasty comes into power? The son-in-law of Krishnadevaraya, Ramaraya, has been blamed for the destruction of Vijayanagara. He began to play one Bahamani sultan against another, and as a result, out of the five Bahamani kingdoms, four of them joined together, and they combinedly attacked Vijayanagara. So this is the famous battle of Talikota, also called Rakkasagi Tangadagi or Bannihatti. So it's called by three names. It's called the Battle of Talikota or Rakkasagi Tangadagi or Bannihatti. And in this battle, the reigning king was Sadashivaraya. He was defeated. He came running back from the battlefield and ran away from Hampe to a place called Penukodna. and he ran away with Ramaraya's brothers, Tirumala and Venkatadri. And later we have Tirumala establishing the fourth dynasty, the Aravidu dynasty, from Penukonda, which ruled from Penukonda in present-day Andhra Pradesh. In the Talikota battle, Vijayanagara was defeated, and we have the Bahmani sultans entering Hampe, and they ordered their soldiers. So this is what Robert Sewell says. We'll come to that in some time when I come to that part of the chapter. So here, so Robert Sewell tells us that the sultans gave a license to the soldiers to engage in loot and plunder. So you have for about 5.5 months, almost 6 months, the loot, plunder, pillage, rapine of Vijayanagara took place, and it was reduced to ruins with hammers, sickles, pickaxes. They razed the city of Victory to its ground, and now it is called the city of ruins in the local language, Halu Hampe. In the local language, Kannada, it's called Halu Hampe. So, however, the Vijayanagar kingdom continued to linger on even after the Talikota battle, and the Aravidu kings ruled from Penukonda, Chandragiri, and Vellore as their capitals. But the peak of Vijayanagara was only till 1565. So 1336 to 1565, this was the peak of Vijayanagara. And after 1565 till 1648, the kingdom continued to exist, but it had lost its zenith. It had lost its peak as such. So this is what I had discussed in yesterday's class. Okay, thank you, Gunjan. Am I there, all of you? Can we continue? And of course, you have Colin Mackenzie in 1800. He was an officer of the East India Company. He drew the survey map of Hampe. So he spotted this hidden treasure and prepared the first survey map of this particular city. I'm not visible and audible, says Gunjan. Maybe you have to refresh, Gunjan. What about others? Am I not visible and audible? Gunjan, please refresh your page. Sumo has no problem. Ankush also has no problem. Sakshi says okay. So please refresh your page, Gunjan. Others are not having a similar problem as you. So there must be some technical issue at your end. So please refresh your page. Okay, we come back here. So yesterday I spoke about the Telugu origin theory of Vijayanagara. Let me recap. Let me tell you. So what is this Telugu origin theory? Do you remember the Telugu origin theory? Yesterday's class. Are you there? Are you clear with the Telugu origin theory? Do you want me to repeat it? Hello? Okay, fine. So again, I'll repeat the Telugu origin theory. So these were the Kakatiya. This was the Kakatiya kingdom earlier. I'm coming to that. So this is, let's say, a part of Karnataka those days, and you had a small kingdom here called Sagar, a small area called Sagar, which was ruled by the cousin of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, Bahauddin Gurshap. Bahauddin Gurshasp. He was the governor of Sagar near Gulbarga. And this was the Kakatiya kingdom, which had been conquered by Muhammad bin Tughlaq in 1322-23. And so here we have Muhammad bin Tughlaq was the Delhi Sultan. And when his cousin Bahauddin Gurshap rebelled against Muhammad bin Tughlaq is supposed to have attacked Sagar, defeated Bahauddin Gurshap. Bahauddin Gurshap managed to escape, and he ran to the kingdom of Kampili. So there was another kingdom in present-day region of Karnataka called Kampili. There was a small kingdom called Kampili. And Bahauddin Gurshap sought shelter. He sought asylum protection under the Kampili king. That resulted in Muhammad bin Tughlaq attacking Kampili. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq attacks Kampili, right? And earlier, you see, the Kakatiya kingdom had been conquered by Muhammad bin Tughlaq in 1322-23. And we are told, according to the Telugu origin theory, that two brothers were working earlier in the Kakatiya kingdom, Harihara and Bukka. So Harihara and Bukka earlier were serving under the Kakatiya ruler. Once the Kakatiya kingdom was conquered by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. These two brothers had come to Kampili and sought employment. As a result, the Kampili king appointed these two brothers as the governors of Anegundi. So they were appointed as the governors of a place called Anegundi. So when Muhammad bin Tughlaq attacked Kampili, because the Kampili king had given shelter to Bahauddin Gurshad, we have both Harihara and Bukka also going to Kampili to assist their king. But then in this war, Kampili king was killed. Muhammad bin Tughlaq's cousin Bahauddin Gurshad was also killed, and these two brothers were taken captive. Harihara and Bukka were made prisoners of war, POWs, prisoners of war, and they were taken to Delhi. They were made prisoners of war and taken to Delhi, and they were converted forcibly to Islam. So this is what Isami says in his book Futu Salatin. Isami, in his book Futu Salatin, Futu Salatin tells us this story that these two brothers, Harihara and Bukka, were forcibly converted to Islam by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. And since they were very promising young boys with a lot of capability, they were posted in the south. Muhammad bin Tughlaq posted Harihara and Bukka in the south to control rebellion, to consolidate the Delhi Sultanate in the south. But when they were in the south, as officers of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, these two brothers, Harihara and Bukka, came under the influence of the pontiff of the Shankaracharya Mutt at Sringeri. So there is a mutt in Karnataka at a place called Sringeri. So this is the place. This is the place where Adi Shankaracharya built his first mutt or founded his first mutt. Right? We have seen that. We have done Shankaracharya's story. We have spoken about Shankaracharya's life and contributions. So here there was a mutt in a place called Sringeri, and the pontiff means head of the mutt. The pontiff of the Shankaracharya Mutt at Sringeri was a man called Vidyaranya, a saint called Vidyaranya. So he was the head of the Shankaracharya Mutt at Sringeri, and this saint Vidyaranya reconverted these boys. He reconverted them into Hinduism and inspired them to found a kingdom which will give protection to the people of the south from the invading armies of the north. This is what the Telugu origin theory. This is the Telugu origin theory as regards the origin of Vijayanagara. Are you there with me? Yeah, Karima, I told you. Garima, I told you he attacked Kampili because the Kampili king gave protection to Bahauddin Gurshad. Bahauddin Gurshad was defeated when he rebelled against Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and he lost Sagar, the area where he was the governor. But then he ran away to Kampili and sought protection under the Kampili king, and that is the result that resulted in Muhammad bin Tughlaq attacking Kampili. Clear? Are you there with me? This is the Telugu origin theory as regards Vijayanagara, but there is no truth in this. Historians say this is concocted story. There's no truth, historical truth in this story. It is basically a concocted or a fake story. So historians don't give credence to this theory. They don't give importance to this theory, or that is a Telugu origin theory. Right? Anyway, I have discussed about the Telugu origin theory, and then we come to the Kannada origin theory. What does the Kannada origin theory say? The Kannada origin theory says that these two brothers, Harihara and Bukka, were serving under the Hoysala kingdom. They were serving under the Hoysalas, and then they established Vijayanagara. When they were serving as officers under the Hoysala king, they went on to establish the Vijayanagara kingdom. And this is the most acceptable theory. Most of the historians agree to this Kannada origin theory. These are the two theories with respect to Vijayanagara. And when I did Muhammad bin Tughlaq, I told you, Kampili was the last conquest of the Delhi Sultans in the south. You remember, Garima, Ankush, all the students here? Do you remember I had told you this? Kampili in the south was the last conquest of the Delhi Sultans in the south. No, as officers, Ankush. You're asking me whether they were reduced to feudatories. No. They were posted as officers in the south to help in the consolidation of the Delhi Sultanate. Okay. Now, let us look at the sources for the study of Vijayanagara. We have literary sources, indigenous works, foreign writers, inscriptions, coins, temples. These are the various sources for the study of Vijayanagara, right? So, first of all, we'll discuss the literary sources, which is divided into indigenous works and foreign travelers, or the writings of foreign travelers. So, let us look at the indigenous sources, literary sources. These are all books written in Kannada language. Most of the inscriptions, please understand, most of the inscriptions of the Vijayanagar kings are in Kannada language, and not in Telugu. So most of them are in Kannada language, whatever has been found. And we have a number of books written in Kannada, Telugu, as well as Sanskrit. So all these three languages were patronized by the Vijayanagar kings. Kannada, they patronized Kannada language, they patronized Telugu, and also Sanskrit. And a number of books came to be written in all these three languages. So here, whatever sources I have given you, indigenous works, these are all books written in Kannada language. So indigenous works mostly written in Kannada, right? These are all Kannada books. Kannada books. So name and author. So here Sayana was the author, and he writes a number of books. Yagna Tantra Sudhanidhi. So again, I will do Sandhi here and divide the words into 2 or 3. Yagna Tantra Sudhanidhi. Right? Yagna Tantra Sudhanidhi. Prayashchita Sudhanidhi. Prayashchitta Sudhanidhi. Purushartha Sudhanidhi. Ayurveda Sudhanidhi. Vedartha Prakasha. So these are the books of Sayana. Then Vidyaranya, Parasara Madhaviya, Shankara Vijaya, Rajakala Nirnaya. So Parasara Madhaviya, Shankara Vijaya, Rajakala Nirnaya. Then Rajanatha Dindima, he wrote Achyutaraya Abhyudayam. Then Ganga Devi, Madhura Vijayam, or Veera Kampanaraya Charitam. Tirumalamba, she writes Varadambika Paranayam. Then we have some more. Ratnakara Varni writes Bharatesha Vaibhava. Chamarasa, Prabhulinga Lile. Then Kumaravasa, also called Gadugina Naranappa. So he had begun to write the Kannada Mahabharata, the Mahabharata in Kannada language. But unfortunately, Kumaravasa could not complete this Kannada Mahabharata. And therefore, Krishnadevaraya ordered one of his court poets in his court, one of his court poets, Timmanna. So he told Timmanna to complete the Kannada Mahabharata. So Timmanna, on the orders of Krishnadevaraya, completed the Mahabharata in Kannada language, which was originally begun to be written by Kumaravyasa. Then Lakshmisha, Jaimini Bharata. Then Kanakadasa, Mohana Tarangini, Nalacharita, Harikat Bhaktisara, Ramadhanya Charite. You see, in the mains, please understand here, in the mains, they have asked one question. We'll look at the questions later. They have asked the contribution of Krishnadevaraya towards development of literature, towards progress and development of literature. So what was his contribution? And so you have to divide this part into 2 parts, this question into 2 parts. One is his own contribution, personal contribution towards promotion of literature, and as a king, how did he promote literature? So when that question is asked, to answer, you have to have some facts with you, factual information with you. So these are some of the factual information which you have to fill in your answers. We'll come to that in some time. Just hold on. So these are the various books in Kannada language. Then we have foreign travelers and writers who came to Vijayanagara. They give us a lot of information, these foreign travelers. So here we have the first foreign traveler to come to Vijayanagara, Ibn Battuta. Ibn Battuta, he was from Tangiers in Morocco. He was from Morocco, a place called Tangiers. And he had come to the court of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. But later I told you Muhammad bin Tughlaq ordered him to go to China as his ambassador. And to go to China, he came to the south. He wanted to take the ship, take the sea route to China via Sri Lanka, Indonesia, Malaysia, and then to China. So when he came to South India, he was the first foreign traveler to visit Vijayanagara. And who was the contemporary king? Harihara the First. Harihara the First was the founder of Vijayanagara, Harihara and Bukka. So he was the king. So that's the time when Ibn Battuta came to the kingdom of Vijayanagara. He was the first foreign traveler to visit Vijayanagara. Then we have another traveler, Niccolo di Conte. Niccolo di Conte, he was from Italy, and he writes a book called Travels of Niccolo Conte. He came during the time of Devaraya the First. We look at the four dynasties and the important kings of all these dynasties. Devaraya belonged to the Sangama dynasty, the first dynasty which ruled Vijayanagara. So, what is the information which Niccolo Conte gives about Vijayanagara? Let's talk about it. He talks about the city of Vijayanagara. He talks about the city of Vijayanagara. He says it had a circumference of 90 kilometers, Vijayanagara city, guarded by 90,000 soldiers. 90,000 soldiers used to guard that city, he says. Then he says the king had 12,000 wives. King had 12,000 wives, and when the king died, 2,000 to 3,000 of his wives committed sati. So they burned themselves to death when the king died. And he talks about Navaratri and Diwali festivals. He says that they were celebrated with a lot of pomp and splendor, with a lot of grandeur, pomp, and splendor. That's what he says. This is the information given by Niccolo Conte, an Italian traveler to the court of Devaraya the First. Then we have the third traveler, Abdul Razak. Abdul Razak was a traveler from Persia. He came to the court of the Zamorin of Calicut. The Hindu ruler of Calicut had the title of Zamorin. So he came to the court of Zamorin of Calicut, the king of Calicut. But he also happened to visit Vijayanagara. He came to the time of Devaraya II. When Devaraya II was the king, he came to Vijayanagara. So he also, Abdul Razak, also gives us information about Vijayanagara. So what does he say? He says it was such a beautiful city. The eyes have not seen such a beautiful city. Neither the ears have heard about such a city. So he talks about the beauty of Vijayanagara. Then he says the city had seven fortified walls. So seven fortified walls, one within the other, surrounding the city of Vijayanagara. And there were also seven bazaars, he says. And then he tells us that merchants, traders used to sell rubies, diamonds, emerald, pearls, etc., like groceries, like tomatoes and onions on the streets of Vijayanagara. So that's what he says. So merchants sell rubies, diamonds, emerald, pearls, etc., on the streets as groceries. Then Abdul Razak interestingly tells us that taxes collected from the prostitutes went on to pay the salaries of the police officials of Vijayanagara. Now, please understand, prostitution was a recognized institution in Vijayanagara. Prostitution was a recognized institution in Vijayanagara, and prostitutes had to pay taxes to the government. So prostitutes used to pay tax to the government to follow their occupation or trade. And the taxes collected from these prostitutes went on to pay the salary of the police officials of Vijayanagara. That's what Abdul Razak tells us. Then he says polyandry was prevalent in the Malabar region. What's polyandry? One woman having more than one husband. But here, please understand, it was not the locals who practiced polyandry. It was the Arabs. Now, please understand here. I seek your attention. You see, Islam came to India first to the Kerala coast. So, Islam first came to India to the Kerala coast. It was brought by the Arabs. So, Arabs were the ones who came to India and they introduced Islam in this country. The oldest mosque in India is in Kerala, the Cheruman Juma. Now, why did they come to India? These Arabs, they came to procure spices. They came to procure spices and cotton textiles. And once they came to South India, to the Kerala coast, or to other parts of South India, what they would do is they'll stay here. They had a lot of money with them. They were merchants and traders that had come to procure spices. And what the Arab merchant will do is he'll marry a poor girl. So he'll give a lot of money to the parents of that girl, and he'll marry that girl. And then he will, have a marital life for a few weeks or a few months, and he'll get her pregnant, and he'll go away because he's a businessman. He'll promise the wife that he'll come back, but he might never turn back. So he goes away, right? And this poor girl is left to fend for herself. She becomes a mother, and then after some time, another Arab merchant comes, right? And he will promise the same to her, that he would like to marry her and give her a life, etc. And then he might do the same thing to her. So here, it was not the locals who practiced polyandry. It was actually the Arabs who practiced polyandry. So anyway, Abdul Razak says that polyandry was prevalent in the Malabar region in the Kerala coast, and trade was organized in guilds. And he says that people used to like roses. They value roses as food. Without roses, they could not exist. So they gave a lot of importance to roses. He says Abdul Razak. This is the information given by Abdul Razak. Then we have a horse merchant from Russia called Athanasius Nikitin. So he was a horse merchant from Russia. He came to the time of Virupaksha II. And he talks about the extreme economic disparities, the differences between the rich and the poor. So he talks about extreme economic disparities between rich and the poor. Athanasius Nikitin, a horse merchant from Russia. Then we have Duarte Eduardo Barbosa from Portugal. So he came during the rule of Krishnadevaraya, right? In short, I've written Kedi Raya, Krishnadevaraya in full, right? So Barbosa talks about social evils prevalent in the society of Vijayanagara. Social evils like sati. He says sati was there, polygamy, Devadasi system, then taboo on widow remarriages. That is, certain communities like Brahmins, if a girl becomes a widow, she was not encouraged to marry. She was not allowed to marry again. So he says there was taboo on widow remarriages. Then he talks about wars with the Deccan Sultans and Orissa, Vijayanagar kings fighting against the Bahmani Sultans and Orissa. Krishnadevaraya was a great warrior. He fought against all the Bahmani Sultans, including the king of Orissa, the Gajapati dynasty, which ruled Orissa. And then Barbosa says when the king dies, 400 to 500 women burn themselves with him. They commit sati by burning themselves. So that's what Barbosa says. Then another traveler to the court of Krishnadevaraya was Varthema, Ludovico da Varthema. He was from Italy, Varthema, and he came to the time of Krishnadevaraya. And Domingo Paz, another traveler from Portugal, Domingo Paz. So he also came to the court of Krishnadevaraya. So three travelers came to the court of Krishnadevaraya. Two were from Portugal and one was from Italy. So Duarte Eduardo Barbosa and Domingo Paz from Portugal and Varthema from Italy. So Domingo Paz talks about the personality of Krishnadevaraya, the physical appearance of Krishnadevaraya. He talks about it. He says, Domingo Paz says that Krishnadevaraya was not a very tall man. He was medium built. He was on the darker side, and he had pockmarks on his face. Right, and then he was given to sudden fits of rage. Suddenly he'll get angry. He says that's what Domingo Paz says, and then he goes on to tell the routine of Krishnadevaraya, the daily routine. So he says that early morning the emperor would get up and then he will be massaged. So with oil, so the emperor would be massaged nicely, and then the emperor would start exercising for hours together. So he will wrestle, he will ride the horse, he will practice sword fighting, etc. And then so that the sweat would come dripping from his body, would be dripping from his body, and then he will have a nice shower. He'll go to the washroom and have a nice shower, and then he will have his meal, his breakfast, and then he will conduct the court. So all these details are given by Domingo Paz. And also he says king had 12 wives, but he did not have freedom. These wives of Krishnadevaraya did not have freedom. Then Fernao Nunes came during the time of Achyuta Devaraya. Achyuta Devaraya was one of the Aravidu kings, Achyuta Devaraya. So he talks about the food habits of the people. Then he says Lingayats and Telagas, that is oil pressers. Telagas are oil pressers. They observed sati by burying the widow alive. So when the husband died, the Lingayats and the Telagas used to bury the dead body of that man, and along with the dead husband's body, the wife was buried alive. That's what he says. So it might have been a very scary and a very shocking sight to see that, if at all it is true. That's what for now Noni says. And Noni tells us that women of Vijayanagara were experts in sword fighting, in wrestling, in soothsaying, that is, predicting the future, astrology, etc. So that's what he says. And then he wrote the history of the kingdom from its inception till the rule of Achyuta Devaraya. From the time of the birth of Krishnadevaraya, from the time of the birth of Vijayanagara till the rule of Achyuta Devaraya. So for now, Nunis. So these are the various travelers to the court of, to the kingdom of Vijayanagara. And they came during the rule of many Vijayanagar kings. Varsha, that's what Abdur Razak say. What they did with roses, they might have used their roses on a daily basis. They might have kept roses with them in their shirt, or they might have used for prayers, or in their houses to decorate, etc. But that's what Abdur Razak says, that they valued roses a lot. They could have used it as perfume also, rose water. Okay, that's a nice imagination, Sakshi. It might have been used for as rose water also. Okay, so this is about the information given by these foreign travelers, right? And then, of course, we have inscriptions. There are a number of inscriptions issued by Vijayanagar kings. Most of these inscriptions are in the Sanskrit language and the Nagari script. Most of these inscriptions are in the Sanskrit language and the Nagari script. And the Vijayanagar script is called Nandi Nagari. The Vijayanagar script is called Nandi Nagari. We have also inscriptions in Kannada, Telugu, and Sanskrit languages. Vijayanagar rock cut, you have stone inscriptions. Vijayanagar stone inscriptions are in Tamil, Telugu, and Kannada languages. So we have inscriptions which also give information about Vijayanagara, right? Then we have some of the important inscriptions on your screen. You can see the Bagepalli inscription, the Bagepalli copper plate inscription of Harihara the First. It talks about the origin of Vijayanagara. So I will tell you one thing: you don't need to remember what is the information given by these inscriptions. Just remember the king who issued this inscription and the name of the inscription. For example, Bagepalli is a name of a place in Andhra, on the Karnataka Andhra border. So there we have found an inscription. It was issued by Harihara the First, and it talks about the origin of Vijayanagara. Even if you forget about the information these inscriptions give, don't worry about it. Then Bitragunta grant of Bitragunta copper plate of Sangama II. It talks about the genealogy of the Sangamas. That is the family tree of the Sangamas, who was the founder, important kings, etc. Then Chennarayapatna inscription. So Chennarayapatna is a place in Karnataka. Chennarayapatna. We have an inscription which has been found there. It was issued by Harihara II. And he says Bukka made Vijayanagara his capital. Then Srirangam copper plate, Srirangam in Tamil Nadu, issued by Devaraya II. Then Devalapalli copper plate inscription of Narasimha II. Soraikavur plates of Virupaksha. Shravanabalagala inscription of Bukka the First. Then Kandiyan Tanda inscription issued by Veera Narasimha. Then the founder of the Tuluva dynasty. Then Hampe inscription issued by Krishnadevaraya. And the Amaravati inscription issued by Krishnadevaraya. So these are all the inscriptions which also give a number of information about Vijayanagara. Are you there with me, all of you? So these are the important inscriptions issued by various Vijayanagar kings and the information they give. Then Vijayanagar kings issued a number of coins, gold, silver, and copper coins. So their gold coins are called Varaha, and also called Gadyana, Pon, or Pagoda. So variously called Varaha, Gadyana, Pon, or Pagoda. We have various emblems, various symbols found on their coins. Mostly it is Varaha, that is the boar incarnation of Vishnu. So from that we come to know that Vijayanagar kings were Vishnu worshippers. Most of them were Vishnu worshippers. Then we have a number of impressions, gods, animals, etc. found on their coins, like bull, elephant, Varaha, Hindu gods like Shiva, Vishnu, etc. And Ganda Verunda. What is Ganda Verunda? This is an imaginary emblem of the Vijayanagar kings, where you have a double-headed eagle. An eagle with double heads, with two heads. It's an imaginary bird, obviously, a mythological bird or an imaginary bird. And this bird, a double-headed eagle, has in its beak and in its claws, it has one elephant each. You can see here on your screen. This is called Ganda Berunda. Ganda Berunda. So you have a double-headed eagle. So it has got two heads, as you can see, this eagle. And in each of its beak and claws, it has an elephant. You see an elephant here in its beak. There's another elephant here in the beak of this particular eagle. And then in its claws also there are elephants. So did you understand? This is called Ganda Berunda. Now this symbol, Ganda Berunda symbol, was the symbol of the Vijayanagar kings. Mostly they used the Ganda Berunda. Then later, one of the feudatories of the Vijayanagar kings were the Vadayars. So Vadayars were one of the feudatories of the Vijayanagar kings. Once the Vijayanagar kingdom declined and disintegrated and disappeared, the Vadayars borrowed this symbol, Ganda Berunda. And from the Vodayars, the government of Karnataka has borrowed this symbol. But of course, it has deleted the elephants. We don't see elephants in the symbol of government of Karnataka. For example, on their police vans or on their government buses, you see this Ganda Benunda symbol, but without the elephants in the beak and the claws of the eagle. Did you get me here, all of you? Are you there with me? This is Ganda Berunda symbol. Can you raise your hands? Hello. Any doubts here? Can I move on? Okay. No. The symbol has been borrowed by the government of Karnataka from the Vijayanagar kings. Vijayanagar symbol was copied with the Vadayars of Mysore and later by the government of Karnataka with certain deletions. Right. Then these are the various gods on the coins of Vijayanagar kings. For example, you see here, Harihara and Bukka had Hanuman embossed on the coins. Krishadevaraya, he had gods Venkatesha and Balakrishna, small Krishna on his coins. Achyutaraya had Garuda, Tirumala had Varaha, etc. And of course, Devaraya the second, on his coins, we have his title Gajabentekara, the elephant hunter. Gajabentekara. Then, so please understand, Varaha was the main gold coin of the Vijayanagar kings. And these are all the gold coins. Partha, half of Varaha. So Varaha was the main gold coin with slight copper content. Half of Varaha was a Partha, one-tenth of a Partha was a Fanam. So these are the gold coins, Varaha, Partha, Fanam. Silver coins were called Tar or Tara, and Jital was the copper coin. Jital was the copper coin. Jital was also the copper coin under the Delhi Sultans, isn't it? One tanka is equal to 48 Jital. So Jital was a copper coin. Tara was a silver coin, or Tar was a silver coin. Gold coins, Ankush, on the basis of gold, silver, there was no barter system, obviously. They would have used some, equally acceptable denomination. A metal piece like gold and silver is precious anywhere in the world. So that would be the common medium of exchange. Gold, copper, and silver. Right. Then we have temples, which also give us information about Vijayanagara. We have many surviving temples at Hampe, the capital of Vijayanagara, like Virupaksha temple, Hazara Rama temple, Vijaya Vithala temple. And we have a number of temples in present-day Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra, which exist, survive, like Kanchipuram, Madurai, Tadipatri, Lepakshi, etc. They also give us a lot of information about Vijayanagara. So what are the reasons for the growth of Vijayanagara Empire? Of course, we have expansion of agriculture and trade in the present region of Karnataka. So expansion of agriculture and trade. Chola Empire was finished off. Chola Empire had declined and disappeared. And in place of the Cholas, we have Nayakas who came to rule. So you have outside the Chola Mandalam, you have independent basis of competitive power. That is, you have chieftains or Nayakas or Palegars who were mainly responsible for the expansion of Vijayanagara. And of course, early Vijayanagar king, the expansion of Vijayanagara happened at the cost of the Hoysala and the Reddy kingdom of Kondavedu. So the Vijayanagar kings were the ones who conquered the Hoysalas. That was the end of the Hoysala dynasty, and also the Reddy kingdom of Kondavedu. So they expanded at the cost of Hoysalas and the Reddy kingdom of Kondavedu. And of course, we have the Nayakas or the Palegars, the chieftains, the military chieftains who expanded Vijayanagara. So these are the various reasons for the growth of Vijayanagara Empire. Now, there were 4 dynasties which ruled Vijayanagara: Sangama, Saluva, Tuluva, and Aravidu dynasties. Sangama, the founders were Harihara and Bukka, 2 brothers, and it existed till 1485. Then we have Saluva Narasimha established in the Saluva dynasty. So it existed for only about 20 years, 1485 to 1505. Then Tuluva dynasty, Veera Narasimha was the founder. And the greatest of the Vijayanagar kings belongs to the Tuluva dynasty, Krishadevaraya. And then, of course, we have the Talikota battle which took place. And then we have the Aravidu dynasty, which ruled from Penukonda. So Aravidu dynasty ruled from Penukonda, not from Hampe. and later Chandragiri and Vellore in Tamil Nadu. So the founder of the Aravid dynasty was Tirumala, one of the brothers of Ramaraya. So let us discuss the political history of Vijayanagara. Are you there with me? Can I continue? Political history. Yesterday I gave you the overview of Vijayanagara. I hope you have understood it. All of you, can you please raise your hands? Any doubts there? Any doubts there? You want me to clarify anything? So we will run through this political history, and wherever I have to go slow and explain to you, I will definitely do that. Okay. Now look here. So these are the important kings, the kings of the Sangama dynasty, the first dynasty to rule Vijayanagara, the Sangama dynasty, 1336 to 1485. So Harihara the first, Bukka the first, Devaraya the first, Devaraya the second. These are the important kings. Harihara the first, Bukka the first, Devaraya the first, Devaraya the second. But anyway, we will make a survey of all of these kings. So Harihara the first. So Sangama dynasty, 1336 to 1485. So he took the title of Mahamandaleshwara, Harihara the first, Mahamandaleshwara, conquered the Hoysala kingdom and also the Kadamba territories. So he conquers Kadamba dynasty was the first dynasty to rule Karnataka. So the Hoysala kingdom was captured by Harihara, including the Kadamba kingdom. And we have Fernao Nunes. Fernao Nunes tells us that it was Harihara who founded the city of Vijayanagara. Those days it was called Vidyanagara. Right? It was named after Vidyaranya, the pontiff of the Sringeri Mutt, right? So the head of the Sringeri Mutt. So here, please understand, initially this city was called Vidyanagara after Vidyaranya, the sage Vidyaranya. Later it was called Vijaya Virupaksha Nagara. Vijaya Virupaksha. Virupaksha was a form of Shiva. So Vijaya Virupaksha Nagara. And later it was renamed Vijayanagara, the city of victory. Vijayanagara. So Vidyanagara, Vijaya Virupaksha Nagara, and finally Vijayanagara. So Fernão Nunes, one of the Portuguese travelers, he says it was initially named Vidyanagara. It was founded by Harihara the first, and later it was renamed Vijayanagara by Bukka. We'll come to that in some time. And it transferred the capital from Anegundi. You remember I told you these two brothers were serving as the governors of Anegundi. The Kampili king had appointed them as governors of Anegundi. Once they founded Vijayanagara, they transferred the capital to Vidyanagara or Vijayanagara from Anegundi. And Ibn Battuta visited Vijayanagara. He was the first foreign traveler to visit the court of Harihara the first. Now, Harihara the first is the person who reorganized the administration of Vijayanagara. He reorganized the administration on the following lines. So you have a hamlet, right? So you have a hamlet below. So four to five hamlets made a village. So village consisted of 4 to 5 hamlets. Then the Sthala was 20 to 30 villages. So when you join 20 to 30 villages, it becomes a Sthala under Karanam or a Sthala Karanam. So that was the officer, Karanam or Sthala Karanam. Right? And of course, above the Sthala came a Nadu. Nadu under a Nadu Gauda. Nadu Gauda, head of the Nadu. So this is how he divided the local administration into hamlet, village, Sthala, Nadu, or you can put it this way also. Okay, right. Then we have the beginning of geopolitical conflict when we have a war between Harihara the first and Ahmad Shah Bahamani, Alauddin Bahaman Shah. So here Alauddin Bahaman Shah defeated Harihara the first and conquered a few territories. So beginning of geopolitical conflict over the Krishna Tungabhadra Doab. In 1356, he was defeated by Alauddin Bahaman Shah, the founder of the Bahamani kingdom. Then we have Bukka, his brother, younger brother. So after the death of Harihara, his brother, younger brother, Bukka became the king. And he was the one who strengthened the city of Vidyanagara, renamed it as Vijayanagara. And then, please understand, this was a UPSC question asked, and I have made a reference to it when I did Mughal Empire, particularly Babur. In 1367, Bukka enters the territory of the Bahmani Sultan and conquers Mudkal. Who was the Bahmani ruler? Mahmud Shah Bahmani. Muhammad Shah Bahmani was the ruler. So Bukka was the one who began this serious conflict between Vijayanagara and Bahmani sultans when he enters the Bahmani territory and conquers Mudkal. So Muhammad Shah Bahmani obviously retaliated. So he entered Vijayanagar territories as a retaliation, reconquered Mudkal, and he defeated Bukka. But he could not capture Bukka, or neither could he capture the city of Hampe. And in this war, for the first time in the history of India, we have the usage of gunpowder. Artillery and gunpowder was used by Muhammad Shah Bahmani in this war against Bukka. So first time artillery was used in this battle. And who used this? Who used gunpowder for the first time? The Sultan Muhammad Shah Bahmani. He uses gunpowder against Bukka, and Bukka was defeated. So first to use gunpowder that is as early as 1367. And when was gunpowder used in North India? Hamlet is a group of huts. Garima. It is a group of huts, a group of families, living in a hut. A few huts will form a hamlet. Yeah, 1526. Good. Ankush, Arun. So gunpowder was used in North India in the first battle of Panipat, but on the soil of India in the battle of Mudkal by Bukka. Now understand this. Bukka had a son. Bukka had a son called Kumara Kampana. And this Kumara Kampana was the governor of Mulbagal. He was the governor of a place called Mulbagal. Now, what happened is this Kumara Kampana took his army and attacked the Madurai Sultanate, the Sultanate of Madurai, Madurai in Tamil Nadu. There was a Muslim rule there, a Muslim Nawab, ruler there. So he defeated and killed that Sultan, and he conquered Madurai. That was the end of the Madurai Sultanate, end of the Sultanate of Madurai. This achievement of Bukka's son, Kumara Kampana, has been documented in a book called Madura Vijayam or Veera Kampanaraya Charita, written by his wife, that is Kumara Kampana's wife, Ganga Devi. Did you understand? I repeat again. Madurai Sultanate was conquered by Bukka's son, Kumara Kampana. And Kumara Kampana's wife, Ganga Devi, writes a book about the military achievements of her husband, that is Kumara Kampana. What was the name of that book? Madura Vijayam. That is the conquest of Madura or Madurai, or Veera Kampanaraya Charita. Veera Kampanaraya Charita. That is a book written by his wife, that is Ganga Devi. So, did you understand? And then we have, of course, Sayana and Madhava, two scholars, Vedic scholars. They began to write commentaries on the Vedas, and Bukka, encouraged them. As a result, he was given the title, Bukka was given the title, Veda Marga Pratisthapaka, Vaidika Marga Pravartaka, the one who encouraged Vedic literature. Veda Marga Pratisthapaka, Vaidika Marga Pravartaka. So this is so I'll be only highlighting the important developments. Did you understand? Bukka the first. This is Bukka the first. Clear? Can I move on? So remember, he conquering Mudkal and then getting defeated by Muhammad Shah Bahmani in the Battle of Mudkal. And in the Battle of Mudkal, for the first time, Muhammad Shah Bahmani uses gunpowder. And then second thing I wanted to remember is the son of Bukka, Kumara Kampana, conquered the Madurai Sultanate. And that has been documented in a book called Madura Vijayam or Veera Kampanaraya Charita. Right. Then the next king was Harihara II. Understand this? Harihara II. Now, I'll draw a map here. Understand this. Vijayanagara was expanding rapidly. So imagine this is Vijayanagara. This is Vijayanagara. So Vijayanagara was expanding rapidly towards the eastern seacoast, towards the eastern seacoast. And to stop Vijayanagara from doing that, we have a alliance between the Bahmani Sultan and the Sultanate of Warangal and the Kingdom of Warangal. So Bahmani Sultan and Varangal came together. So you have Bahamani kingdom and Varangal made an alliance to stop Vijayanagara from expanding further towards the eastern sea coast. Right. So that remember that part. Then we go to the next ruler, Devaraya the First. Now Devaraya the First had to fight against Firuz Shah Bahamani. Firuz Shah Bahamani fought against Devaraya the First and defeated Devaraya the First. Devaraya had to give away his daughter in marriage to the Sultan, Firuz Shah Bahamani, and also Bankapur in the Doab. That is the Krishna Tungabhadra Doab has dowry. So Bankapur was given away as dowry. But this did not stop the conflict between the Vijayanagar kings and the Bahamani Sultan. Now what happened is, we have a kingdom in the present region of Andhra. Now you have the Reddy kingdom. So this Devaraya proposed to Varangal, you come to our side so that we can divide the Reddy kingdom amongst ourselves. This resulted in Varangal defecting from the side of Bahamanis and joining Vijayanagara. I repeat, you see here on your screen. I told you, Bahamanis had entered into an alliance with Varangal. This is to stop Vijayanagara from expanding towards the eastern sea coast. But when the next ruler came to power, that is Devaraya the First, Varangal defected from the side of Bahamani Sultan and joined Vijayanagara. So Varangal joined Vijayanagara, right? And what was the reason why it joined Vijayanagara? Their plan was to divide the Reddy kingdom amongst themselves. Vijayanagara and Varangal wanted to divide the Reddy kingdom amongst themselves. That resulted in Devaraya now taking revenge against the Bahamani Sultan, Firuz Shah Bahamani, and he was able to defeat his son-in-law, Firuz Shah Bahamani, and reconquered everything, whatever he had lost earlier. Did you understand? Hello, are you there with me? Can you raise your hands? So Devaraya allied with Varangal for partitioning the Reddy kingdom. This resulted in Varangal defecting from the side of the Bahamani kingdom, and Devaraya was able to defeat Firuz Shah Bahamani, and he reconquered everything from the up to the mouth of the river Krishna. The greatest achievement of Devaraya. Are you there with me, all of you? Hello. Can you raise your hands? Okay. Thank you. The greatest achievement of Devaraya was the construction of an aqueduct. The construction of an aqueduct. What is an aqueduct? You see here on your screen. This is an aqueduct. So what is an aqueduct? Basically, so you have imagine this. I don't know how many of you know what's an aqueduct. It's basically a canal running on pillars on top. So generally a canal is dug into the ground, into the earth, isn't it? But here you have like a metro train, you have pillars, pillars put up, and then you have a canal running on top of those pillars. That's called an aqueduct. It is a Roman design. And Devaraya, you can see the picture. I have put the picture of an aqueduct here. This is the aqueduct which was built by Devaraya the First. This was a 24-kilometer long aqueduct bringing water from Tungabhadra to the city of Hampe, the capital of Vijayanagar kings. So this was the greatest contribution of his, the construction of an aqueduct. And Niccolo Conte visited Vijayanagara, the Italian traveler, visited Vijayanagara during the period of Devaraya the First. He speaks about Navaratri festival, that is Dasara, 9 nights, Navaratri. Navaratri is also called Dasara in Karnataka, particularly Dasara celebrations. So Navaratri was a state festival under the Vijayanagar kings. And once Vijayanagara was no more, the Vadayars continued the tradition. The Vadayars of Mysore continued this celebrating Navaratri. And it is popular in Bengal also, obviously. Durga Puja, which lasts for 9 days, Navaratri. And then, of course, we have the government of Karnataka, which has continued this tradition. So they not only borrowed the Ganda Berunda from Vijayanagar kings, the government of Karnataka, but also the celebration of Dasara festival, which is a state festival in the state of Karnataka, in Karnataka, right? So we have Deepavali festival, Navaratri festival described by Niccolo Conte, who visited Vijayanagara during the period of Devaraya the First, right? Then we have Devaraya the Second, the greatest of the Sangama kings. Devaraya the Second, he was the greatest of the Sangama rulers. He's called by many titles, Prouda Devaraya, or Now, what is Devaraya II? He's also called Immadi Devaraya. Understand this, don't get confused here. Devaraya II, for example, Dvitiya in Hindi mein Dvitiya Devaraya. No, Dvitiya is second, isn't it? So Devaraya II. In local language, Kannada language, Immadi Devaraya. Immadi means second. So don't get confused. Immadi means second in Kannada. So he is Devaraya II or Immadi Devaraya. You can use either of them, Devaraya II or Immadi Devaraya, like Dvitiya Devaraya. Now, when Devaraya II was the ruler, we have the invasion of Mahmud Shah Bahamani. So he invaded Vijayanagara. There was a war between Vijayanagara and Bahamani Sultan, Mahmud Shah Bahamani, Ahmad Shah Bahamani. Now, we don't know who won this battle. But what we do know is after this battle, the Bahamani Sultan transferred his capital far away from Gulbarga. Gulbarga was the capital of the Bahamani Sultan till then. Hassan Gangu had made Gulbarga his capital. But once this battle took place between Ahmad Shah Bahamani and Devaraya II, Ahmad Shah Bahamani shifted the capital to Bidar, far away from the Vijayanagar territories. So from this, it is presumed by historians that probably in this war, Devaraya II had an upper hand. Probably he must have defeated Ahmad Shah Bahamani, and that is the reason Ahmad Shah Bahamani shifted the capital to far away Bidar. So from Gulbarga to Bidar, the Bahamani Sultan shifted the capital. Now, Devaraya II, because of repeated reverses against the Bahamanis, so you have frequent wars between Vijayanagara and Bahamani Sultans, and in many battles, Vijayanagara was losing. Devaraya II thought or felt the reason why Vijayanagara is losing is because the archery department is weak. The archery department of Vijayanagara is weak. So therefore what he did is, he recruited 10,000 Muslim archers. 10,000 Muslim archers were recruited by Devaraya II to give training in archery to Vijayanagar soldiers. And then what he did is, he built a mosque in Hampe, in Vijayanagara. He built a mosque for the benefit of the Muslim soldiers or the Muslim archers. And he kept a copy of the Holy Quran next to his throne, because he felt that the Muslims might not feel very comfortable, the Muslim soldiers might not feel comfortable coming and bowing before a Hindu king. But if a copy of the Holy Quran is kept next to the throne, they will have no hesitation in bowing down before their holy book, the Holy Quran, which is considered to be the word of God Allah. So, keeping the religious sentiments of the Muslim archers and soldiers into consideration, he kept a copy of the Holy Quran next to his throne on a separate, pedestal for the benefit of Muslim soldiers, and also built a mosque in Vijayanagara. Right. Um then we have, of course, a Telugu poet Srinatha. So he was given the title of Kavi Sarbabhauma because he defeated the poet laureate Dindima. So the poet laureate means the main poet, the court poet. So the court poet Dindima was defeated by this Telugu poet called Srinatha. And Devaraya II, bestowed a title upon Srinatha called Kavi Sarvabhauma. That is the emperor among poets. Kavi Sarvabhauma means emperor among poets. Right? And Devaraya himself was a great scholar. He was a scholarly king, like Harsha was a scholarly king. He wrote many Sanskrit books like Ratna Deepika, Mahanataka Sudhanidhi, and a commentary on the Brahma Sutras of Badarayana. In his inscriptions, he has the title Gaja Betekara. In his inscription, he has this title called Gaja Betekara. Gaja means elephant. Bete Kara means hunter. So the elephant hunter, in short, the elephant hunter. So that is the title of Devaraya II. Yeah, Bhimare, you're right. So far so good, all of you. So the four important kings are Harihara the first, Bukka the first, Devaraya the first, and Devaraya the second. Am I clear till here? Factual information. Now look here. Devaraya the second was succeeded by a young ruler called Mallikarjuna. Mallikarjuna succeeded Devaraya the second. And since he was still a minor, we have the Bahamani Sultans, Bahamani Sultan, and the king of Orissa. The Gajapati dynasty, Gajapatis were ruling Orissa. They attacked Vijayanagara and conquered a number of territories from Vijayanagara. And Mallikarjuna could not do anything because he was still a young boy. So Alauddin II Bahamani and Kapileshwara Gajapati invaded Vijayanagara and captured a number of territories. And the last Sangama king was Praudadevaraya. The last Sangama king was Praudadevaraya. He had a feudatory under him, Samant or feudatory under him, called Salava Narasimha, the governor of Chandragiri. Chandragiri is a place near Tirupati, present day Andhra. You have the great Balaji temple there in Tirupati, Andhra Pradesh, world famous Balaji temple, or Vishnu temple. And in South India, he is called Venkatesha, another name for Vishnu. So this Chandragiri is a place near Tirupati. So this man, Salva Narasimha, was the governor of Chandragiri. So what he did is, he killed this Praudadevaraya and usurped the throne and established the Saluva dynasty. So the Sangama dynasty was followed by the Saluva dynasty. Can I move on? And this is called first usurpation. UPSC has asked a question from these areas. So I will be going on a monologue now, and I'll be writing something on the page and trying to explain to you. And then we'll come back and discuss the PPTs, because UPSC has asked twice, they have asked questions from this area. Okay, so I seek your attention now. So please understand, the last Sangama king was Praudadevaraya, who was assassinated by his feudatory by name Salva Narasimha, who established the Saluva dynasty. And this is called the first usurpation. This is called first usurpation. What is usurpation? Usurping the throne, snatching away the throne. Okay, now look here. So, Praudadevaraya was killed by Saluva Narasimha. Okay, so Saluva Narasimha killed him. He was the governor of Chandragiri. So he killed him. Saluva Narasimha killed Praudadevaraya and established the Saluva dynasty. Saluva dynasty. Now look here, understand this. And what is this called? This is called first usurpation. This is called first usurpation. Okay, now look here. This Salva Narasimha had two sons. Understand this, please. Salva Narasimha established the Salva dynasty. Salva Narasimha had two sons. Who are the two sons of Salva Narasimha? Timma and Immadi Narasimha. I already told you, Immadi means second, Dvitiya, Dusra. Okay, I'll use the English equivalent, Narasimha the second. So Salva Narasimha had two sons. Timma is the first, and the second is Narasimha the second. Two sons of Salva Narasimha. And unfortunately, please understand, Salva Narasimha was on his deathbed, and his two sons were still minors, still small minors. So therefore, what happened is, the Salva Narasimha had a very trusted minister. He had a very trusted minister. His name was Narasanayaka. So his name was Narasanayaka. Narasanayaka. So Narasanayaka was the prime minister of Salva Narasimha. Now, since Salva Narasimha was on his deathbed and his two sons were still minors, he called his minister to him, Prime Minister Narasanayaka, to him, and told Narasanayaka, it looks like I'm going to die, 100%, but my sons are still small, therefore they cannot run the kingdom. So you please run the kingdom on their behalf, and once they come of age, you place Timma on the throne. You make the elder son the ruler. So Narasanayaka agreed. Right? Now Salva Narasimha died. Once Salva Narasimha died, what happened? This Narasanayaka, the minister of Salva Narasimha, put Timma on the throne. He placed Timma on the throne. Then he got Timma assassinated. He got Timma killed, assassinated. Then he placed Narsimha II on the throne. Right. And then he ran the administration. Narsimha II was sent away to far away Pelukonda. From Hampi, which was the capital of Vijayanagara, Narsimha II was sent away to far away Penukonda. And all the administration was run by Narasanayaka. Are you clear till here, all of you? Can you raise your hands? Do you want any clarification? Should I repeat anything? Yeah, Timma was killed by Narasanayaka. He got him killed. Bhimare. Timma was placed on the throne by Narasanayaka. Then he got him assassinated. Right. And made it appear like an accident. Made it appear as if it's an accident. Then he placed the younger son, Narsimha II, on the throne. But then he shifted Narsimha II to far away Penukonda and he began to rule the administration, take care of the administration himself. Now, look here. When so who was the legal ruler? The legal ruler was Narsimha II, isn't it? He was the de jure ruler. But then all the power was in the hands of Narasanayaka. Now, when Narasimha II was the Vijayanagar king, we have Vasco da Gama who came to India in 1498. Vasco da Gama, this was a UPSC question asked. Who was the Vijayanagar ruler? They have asked it as part of a question. One of the choices was given was this. Who was the Vijayanagar king when Vasco da Gama came to India for the first time? So 1498, we have Vasco da Gama coming to India. And who was the Vijayanagar king? This Narasimha II. Clear till here? All of you? So that was the answer. Narasimha II was the answer. Now look here. Narasanayaka had 4 sons. Narasanayaka had 4 sons. Who are the 4 sons of Narasanayaka? Number 1, Veera Narasimha. Veera Narasimha. Number 2, Krishnadevaraya. In short, I'll write KD Raya. Krishnadevaraya. Number 3, Achyutaraya. And number 4, Rangaraya. These are the 4 sons of Narasanayaka. Veera Narasimha, Krishnadevaraya, Achyutaraya, Rangaraya. Now, Narasanayaka died. When Narasanayaka died, his eldest son, Veera Narasimha, acted as the regent to Narasimha II. He acted as the regent. That is, caretaker, representative. So Veera Narasimha, instead of his father, because his father had died now, Narasanayaka, so Veera Narasimha acted as a regent or representative to Narasimha II. Then he got Narasimha II killed. Veera Narasimha got Narasimha II assassinated. And Veera Narasimha went on to found the Tuluva dynasty, established the Tuluva dynasty. This is called second usurpation. Did you understand? So, which is first usurpation? First usurpation is when Salva Narasimha killed Praudadevaraya and established the Saluva dynasty. And which is second usurpation? Veera Narasimha killed Narasimha II and established the Tuluva dynasty. That is called second usurpation. Can you raise your hands again? UPSC has asked questions from here. We'll look at the questions later. At the end of the chapter, we'll look at the questions. समझ में आ गया ना all of you? Clear ना? Clear, all of you. Usurpation is snatching away the throne forcibly. Ankush. Usurpation is snatching away the throne forcibly. Got it? Gunjan, Where are you? Whose son is Praudadevaraya? See, Praudadevaraya is the son of Mallikarjuna. He was the last ruler. He was the last ruler of the Sangama dynasty. You don't worry about whose son he was. Just remember that he was the last ruler of the Sangama dynasty. Clear? So this is first usurpation, and then second usurpation is when Veera Narasimha killed Narasimha II and usurped the throne and established the Tuluva dynasty. Now look here on your screen. Understand this. This once Veera Narasimha, so Veera Narasimha established the Tuluva dynasty. Right now, once Veera Narasimha died, Veera Narasimha had a minister, Saluva Timma. Saluva Timma. He was a very, very powerful minister. So what Saluva Timma did is he set aside the claims of the minor son of Veera Narasimha. Veera Narasimha had a small son, young son. So he got him arrested, including Achyutaraya, Rangaraya, the brothers of Veera Narasimha. So he got them arrested and he placed Krishnadevaraya on the throne, this Saluva Timma. In the year 1509, Krishnadevaraya comes to power. So I repeat, Saluva Timma was the Prime Minister of Veera Narasimha. Once Veera Narasimha died, the Saluva Narasimha got Achyutaraya and Rangaraya arrested and imprisoned. And also, he got the minor son of Veera Narasimha arrested and imprisoned. And then he put Krishnadevaraya on the throne. So, for Krishnadevaraya to come to power, the man responsible was Saluva Timma, and he loyally served Krishnadevaraya. He saw a lot of capability and capacity in Krishnadevaraya. So, he was the one who anointed Krishnadevaraya as emperor, as king. And Krishnadevaraya ruled from 1509 to 1529. He is considered to be the greatest of the Vijayanagar rulers. Gunjan, don't confuse things. Just remember whatever I've told you. Just remember that part. Did you understand? I repeat. So you can see here on your screen. I'll come back. Let me go to the PPTs. So when Mallikarjuna was the Sangama king, since he was a minor, Vijayanagara lost many territories to the Bahamanis and the Orissa king. The last Sangama king was Praudadevaraya, who was assassinated by his feudatory Saluva Narasimha, who was the governor of Chandragiri. And Saluva Narasimha established the Saluva dynasty, and this is called first usurpation. So we go to the next dynasty, Saluva dynasty. So it ruled for only 20 years. You can see they ruled only for 20 years, the Saluva dynasty. So the founder was Saluva Narasimha. So here I believe they were related to the Sangamas by marriage. And we have a person called Saluva Mangu. When Kumara Kampana, remember Bukka's son was Kumara Kampana. And Kumara Kampana is the person who conquered the Madurai Sultanate. So when Kumara Kampana was fighting against the Madurai Sultan, it was this man called Saluva Mangu. Saluva Mangu assisted Kumara Kampana. Saluva Mangu, a person called Mangu. His name was Mangu. And he got the title of Saluva. Saluva means falcon. So the Saluva Mangu assisted Kumara Kampana in his conquest of Madurai Sultanate. And Kumara Kampana gave him the title of Saluva. That is falcon. He fell upon his enemies like a falcon, I believe. Falcon is like an eagle or a kite, which flies very fast. So he fell upon his enemies like a falcon. So that's where the name Saluva comes from, right? So they were related to the Sangamas by marriage, the Saluvas. So the founder was Saluva Narasimha. He was the governor of Chandragiri near Tirupati. So he assassinated Praudadevaraya and usurped the throne, snatched away the throne. And this is called first usurpation. But we have the Gajapati king, the king of Orissa, the Gajapati king, Purushottama Gajapati. Purushottama Gajapati defeated this Saluva Narasimha and imprisoned him. The king of Orissa defeated Saluva Narasimha and imprisoned him. And what was the price he demanded to release him from prison? The fort of Udayagiri, Nellore district of Andhra. So Udayagiri fort. So Selva Narasimha told the Orissa king that he will give him the Udayagiri fort if he is released from prison. And thereupon, he was released, and the fort of Udayagiri fell into the hands of the Orissa king. Now, Selva Narasimha patronized a number of scholars. I told you, Selva Narasimha had two sons, Timma and Immadi Narasimha, and since he was almost on his deathbed, he asked his minister to take care of the administration and also his sons. I'll come to that part in some time. The Selva Narasimha was a patron of many scholars, and I have made a chart for your convenience. So, who are these scholars? They're all Telugu scholars, who were patronized by Selva Narasimha. Pillalamarri Pinaveerabhadra. Pillalamarri Pinaveerabhadra, who wrote Jaimini Bharata and Shringara Shakuntala. So these are all Telugu poets, and he's supposed to have quoted this verse called Vani Na Rani. Vani Na Rani. Then Talapakat Annamacharya. So many years back, I don't know how young you people were at that point in time. I think at least about 20 years back, at least 20, 25 years back, there was a very popular Telugu movie by name Annamaya. The Telugu superstar Nagarjuna has acted as Annamacharya or Annamaya. So it was a very popular Telugu movie, and it became a super hit. So this story, this movie recreates the story of this Telugu saint called Annamacharya, and this Telugu saint, Talapakka Annamacharya, was patronized by Selva Narasimha. So he was the one who was the patron king. And Annamacharya was a great devotee of Lord Balaji Venkateshwara of Tirupati. So he is supposed to have composed 32,000 kirtanas, shloks or hymns in praise of Lord Venkateshwara. So 32,000 kirtanas. So he was a poet singer or Vagayakara in Telugu language. And he has been called by different titles, Sankirtanacharya, Pada Kavita Pitamaha, etc. And only about 8,000 verses or kirtanas are available. The rest have been lost, and that is called Andhra Veda. Even now it is called Andhra Veda. So he was patronized, and Annamacharya was patronized by Selva Narasimha. Annamacharya's wife was Talapakka Timmakka. Talapakka Timmakka, the wife of Annamacharya, and she was the first Telugu poet. So she writes Subhadra Kalyanam, a book called Subhadra Kalyanam, wife of Annamacharya, first Telugu poet. And another scholar who was patronized by Selva Narasimha was Molla. So Molla wrote the Ramayana in Telugu language. So she was a Telugu poetess. So these are the various scholars patronized by Selva Narasimha. Pillalamarri Pinaveerabhadra, Talapakka Annamacharya, Talapakka Timmakka, then of course Molla. So remember that. Ankush, I'm talking about usurpation with respect to Vijayanagara. With respect to Vijayanagara, it's called first usurpation and second usurpation. Why are you confusing things? You're right. We are seeing usurpation from Mauryan times. Even before that, you have usurpation. But I'm talking in the context of Vijayanagara. Why are you confusing things, Ankush? Kumara Kampana was the name of the son of Bukka the First, Bhimare. Okay, name of Bukka's son was Kumara Kampana. So here, have PPTs been shared with the students before the class? Can I ask you that? All of you, can you please answer me that? Are PPTs being shared before the class starts? At least 24 hours before? No? Gunjan, there's nothing to confuse. I have tried to make it as simple as possible. Go back and read. Go back and revise the PPTs. And if you have any doubts, ask me in the next class. I'm there to clarify that. Okay. So I will see to it. I'll see. Okay. Yeah, Veerashaivism was established by Basava. You're right, Hari. Okay. No, I'm okay. I'll find out. I'll talk to the concerned person. I'll talk to the concerned person. and I'll find out. Okay, so you give me some time, I'll get back to you. Yeah, that's the whole point. That's why I asked you. PPTs, if it is made available to the student, they can go through it at least once and then come and sit in the class. Then, if they have any doubts, that becomes very easy to clarify for the student, for the teacher as well as the student. And then you can go back and revise the PPT and read your textbook. Okay, now come back here. Okay, fine. You just mail me, Varsha. Whatever is the problem, please mail me, some of you, and I can forward it to the concerned people and get it done. Okay, so this is in your interest. I asked you this question so that I want the PPTs to be shared with the students much before the class begins, so that at least they would have gone through it once. At least they know what is coming. Ankush, I'll find out. You just give me, you just mail me. Okay. So did you understand? So Salava Narasimha was the founder of the Salava dynasty. He killed Proudadevaraya and established the Salava dynasty. Now look here on your screen. Salava Narasimha had two sons. On your focus now. Salava Narasimha had two sons, Timma and Immadi Narasimha. I told you Salava Narasimha was on his deathbed. So he appointed Narasanayaka as his regent. Right? Then Narasanayaka, what did he do? He placed Timma on the throne, the eldest. So he placed Timma on the throne, but got him assassinated. Then he put Immadi Narasimha or Narasimha the second on the throne, right? And then he shifted him to far away Penukonda, and he dominated the scene for some time, right? Then this Narasanayaka had four sons: Veera Narasimha, Krishnadevaraya, Rangaraya, and Achyutaraya. Once Narasanayaka died, Veera Narasimha became the regent to Immadi Narasimha, that is Narasimha the two, and later got him assassinated. Veera Narasimha killed Narasimha the two and established the Tuluva dynasty. This is called second usurpation. On your screen, you see here, Veera Narasimha was the founder of the Tuluva dynasty. So Veera Narasimha was the founder. He became the king after assassinating Immadi Narasimha or Narasimha the two, and thus founded the Tuluva dynasty. That's called second usurpation. Did you understand first usurpation, second usurpation? Did you understand that? So this is called second usurpation. That's how the Tuluva dynasty comes to power. The founder was Veera Narasimha. Okay, great. Now, how does Krishnadevaraya come to power? I told you, on the death of Veera Narasimha, we have Saluva Timma, the chief minister of Veera Narasimha. So he placed Krishnadevaraya on the throne after imprisoning Veera Narasimha's minor son, right? And the two stepbrothers of Krishnadevaraya. And that's how Krishnadevaraya comes to power. So the person responsible for Krishnadevaraya coming to power was Saluva Timma, the chief minister of Veera Narasimha. So he was the greatest of the Vijayanagar kings, Krishnadevaraya. And just before Krishnadevaraya came to power, I told you yesterday's class, the Bahmani kingdom split up into 5 states. The Bahmani kingdom split up into 5 states: Bijapur, Golconda, Ahmednagar, Bidar, Birar. And I told you how it happened yesterday. Remember, yesterday I told you how Mahmud Gawan was conspired against by the Deccani nobles. They got the Mahmud Gawan executed by the king, and the king, died of a broken heart once he came to know that he had ordered the execution of Mahmud Gawan, and that's around the death knell of the Bahmani kingdom. So let us come to Krishnadevaraya, a contemporary of Babur. And I told you, Babur talks about Krishnadevaraya in his Tuzuki Baburi or Baburnama. Krishnadevaraya ruled for 20 years, 1509 to 1529. We have a Government of India stamp. You can see here a stamp released by the Government of India, 5 rupee stamp, and this is the statue of Krishnadevaraya, which is found in the Tirupati temple, the Venkateshwara temple in the Tirupati hills, in the Tirumala temple on top of the hill. So the statue of Krishnadevaraya with his two spouses, with his two wives, he visited the temple there, and he has made very generous donations to the temple. How it happened, I'll come to that in some time. So let us talk about Krishnadevaraya. Krishnadevaraya was the greatest of the Vijayanagar kings, and he defeated all the rulers of South India. All the Bahmani rulers were defeated: Gulbarga, Bidar, Golconda, etc. He also defeated the Gajapati king, the Orissa king, the Gajapatis who ruled Orissa. And the longest conflict he had was with the Gajapatis. The longest conflict he had was with the Gajapatis of Orissa. He defeated them in 5 campaigns, five stages. And later he married the Gajapati daughter also, the daughter of the Gajapati king. So Krishnadevaraya was a great scholar also, not only a great ruler, but also a great scholar. He personally led his army in battles. He had a strong army of 7 lakhs. During those days, he had an army of 7 lakhs. And Baba talks about him, Babar. He says that the most powerful ruler in India at that point in time was Krishnadevaraya. And also he was a man of justice. So we will discuss the military conquests of Krishnadevaraya. He was also a great builder of temples. Then he patronized a number of scholars, and we have the Ashtadigajas, the 8 luminaries, the 8 elephants, literary giants, or Ashtadigajas as they are called. They were supposedly in the court of Krishnadevaraya, though history doesn't support it. We have no historical evidence that all these 8 luminaries or literary giants existed in the court of Krishnadevaraya. But generally, it is believed that they existed, but history doesn't support that. We'll talk about it later. So Krishnadevaraya was also a great scholar. Personally, he wrote a number of books. The Amukta Malyada, which was a book on polity in Telugu language. He writes that in Telugu language, a book on polity called Amukta Malyada, and Jamavati Parinaya in 5 acts that was written in Sanskrit language. So Krishnadevaraya, his period is called the classical phase of Telugu literature. And therefore, he is given the title Andhra Pitamaha. He's called Andhra Pitamaha for that reason. Andhra Pitamaha. Andhra Pitamaha. Then he's also called Andhra Bhoja. Andhra Bhoja, the king of the Andhras. Pedanna, one of his poets called Pedanna, he calls him Kannada Ramaramana. Kannada Ramaramana. Then we have great military achievements of Krishnadevaraya. Personally, he led the army in battles, and he brought victory to Vijayanagara. And in one case against the king of Bijapur, if you go to Bijapur city, you have this cannon called Malike Maidan. So even now it's called Malike Maidan. So it was a very huge cannon. It has been placed on an artificial foundation about 15-20 feet in height, a stone foundation. And the uniqueness of that cannon was it used to create a huge amount of sound. It was also devastating on the enemy, but also it used to create a huge amount of sound. So much so that there is a well there on top of that, on the cannon, below the cannon, there's a well. And during those days, there used to be water in that well. So the person who was supposed to ignite the cannon was supposed to ignite it and jump into the well with his ears closed, because it used to make so much of a sound that the eardrums would explode literally, and if that person could go deaf. So here it is said that when the war began against Bijapur, this cannon called Malike Maidan, created so much of havoc in the army, one section of the army of Vijayanagara, that his soldiers began to retreat. And Krishnadevaraya, in the middle of the battle, he regrouped his soldiers. He gave a speech to his soldiers, and then that speech inspired his soldiers. And he came back, and then they came back behind the Sultan, behind their ruler, because he alone charged at the enemy on his horse. And when they saw their king charging at the enemy, instead of retreating, they came back and joined their king. And this sure defeat was converted into success, grand success. So this is what it is told. So he has been given other titles like Yavanarajya Sthapanacharya. Yavanarajya, I'll explain that in some time, just hold on. Yavanarajya Sthapanacharya. Sthapanacharya. Gajapati Saptanga Harana. Gajapati Saptanga Harana. That is the king who took away all the 7 limbs of the Gajapati. So then Samudra Dishwara, the lord of the 3 oceans. So like that, he has been given a lot of titles by scholars, contemporary scholars, and poets. And because of his achievements, both on the battlefront as well as with respect to patronizing literature, welfare measures, etc. So we'll talk about Krishnadevaraya. First of all, his conquests, the military achievements of Krishnadevaraya. On your screen, we have the Battle of Doni or Divani. The Battle of Divani or Doni. We have Mahmud Shah Bahamani. You know, the initial capital of Bahmani Sultans was Gulbarga. Later, the capital was shifted to Bidar. Now, the king of the Bahmanis, with Bidar as capital, Mahmud Shah Bahamani, when Krishnadevaraya ascended the throne, he attacked Vijayanagara. And Krishnadevaraya was able to repulse the invading army of Mahmud Shah Bahamani. This is the Battle of Doni. Then, in the Battle of Kovilkonda, he defeated and killed the king of Bijapur, Yusuf Adil Shah. Yusuf Adil Shah of Bijapur was killed by Krishnadevaraya, and the Raichur Dove was occupied. He also marched up to Gulbarga and captured the fort. Then he captured Bidar. Understand this. What had happened at Bidar? You see, we have the Sultan at Bidar, Mahmud Shah Bahamani. And this Mahmud Shah Bahamani had a minister called Barid. Amir Barid. This minister had usurped the throne. He had snatched away the throne from the Sultan, and he had imprisoned the Sultan Mahmud Shah Bahamani. And he was ruling as the king. So Krishnadevaraya attacks Bidar. He defeats the minister Amir Barid. After defeating the minister, he goes to Bidar and he releases the Sultan from prison. He takes him out of the prison. And then he places him on the Bidar throne. He puts the Sultan, Mahmud Shah Bahamani, back on his throne. And in that way, he resuscitated the Bahamani kingdom. He brought the Bahamani kingdom, he made it alive again. For this reason, he has been given a title, Yavana Rajya Sthapanacharya. Yavana means foreigner. Yavana Rajya Sthapanacharya, the restorer of the foreign kingdom. So that's how he restored the foreign kingdom. He could have directly ruled Bidar after ending the Bahamani Sultanate, but he did not do so. Diplomatically, it would have been more problems for him, probably because you have other sultans who would probably join together and fight against Vijayanagara. So he restored the Bahamani Sultan back on his throne. Did you understand that? Right? Clear? Right. Then we come to the rebellion of Gangaraya. So we have a Palegar or a Nayaka. The Palegars are military chiefs. Palegars were military chiefs, like Iqtadar under the Delhi Sultans. The Palegar was a military chief. So the Palegar of Ummattur, his name was Gangaraya. He rebelled against Krishnadevaraya. So Krishnadevaraya goes to attacks Ummattur, defeats this Gangaraya, and conquered his capital Shivana Samudra. So he conquers this capital of Gangaraya called Shivana Samudra, and then the entire area was reorganized by Krishnadevaraya, and he made Srirangapatna as a capital. Srirangapatna as a headquarters. And then he goes to Belur and reconstruct the temple there. He stayed at Belur and renovated the temple there. So this is another contribution of his. Then we have the Kalinga expedition of Krishnadevaraya in 5 stages. That is, Kalinga is Orissa, as you all know. So he decided to attack and conquer Orissa, or rather reconquer all those territories which the Orissa king had conquered from the Vijayanagar kings. We go back here, look here. We have the last, we have when the Sangama ruler, Mallikarjuna, was ruling. You remember this? Mallikarjuna was a young boy. And that is the time when the Gajapatis, as well as the Bahamanis, had conquered many territories from Vijayanagara. So once Krishnadevaraya became the emperor, he wanted to reconquer all those territories, not only from the Bahamanis, but also from the Gajapatis. So that is why we divide his Kalinga expedition into 5 stages. He was determined to reconquer all those areas which the Orissa king had conquered from Vijayanagara. So first of all, he recaptured Udayagiri fort. You remember Salva Narasimha had been defeated by Purushottama Gajapati, and as a condition for his release, he had to give away the fort of Udayagiri. The Krishnadevaraya now reconquered Udayagiri fort from Prataparudra Gajapati, the son of Purushottama Gajapati. Now, after reconquering Udayagiri, he goes to the temple of Balaji, that is on the hill. We have the famous Tirumala temple, though it's called Tirupati temple. So he goes with his 2 queens, Chinna Devi, Tirumala Devi. You can see on your screen, I have put a picture here. This is a picture inside the temple. So this is Krishnadevaraya, the statue of Krishnadevaraya with his two queens, Chinnamma Devi and Tirumala Devi. So when he visited this temple, he has made generous donations to this temple, diamond, gold, etc. And on important festivals like Kalyanotsav, etc., the Lord is adorned, including with the jewels presented by Krishnadevaraya. So he goes to Tirupati and seeks the blessings of the Lord with his two wives. He also carried away an image of Balakrishna from Puri, Orissa, right? And he um installed it in one of the temples. This is the first stage. In the second stage, he defeated the Reddy chieftains and conquered Kondavidu and all those territories up to the mouth of the river Krishna, up to the river Krishna. So he defeated the Reddy chieftains and conquered Kondavidu. The third stage, he conquers Beswada, that is Vijayawada, what we now call Vijayawada, and he conquered Kondapalli. So he conquers Kondapalli. In the fourth stage, entire Telangana was conquered, entire Telangana, including the Krishna Godavari Doab, and he installed a pillar of victory, a victory pillar at a place called Putnur Simhadri. So he installed a victory pillar there. And in the fifth stage, he marches up to Cuttack, the capital of the Gajapatis of Orissa. He marches up to Cuttack. The ruler was Prataparudra Gajapati. So he accepted defeat, Prataparudra Gajapati, and he agreed to give his daughter in marriage to Krishnadevaraya. Her name was Annapurna Devi or Mohanagi. And Krishnadevaraya was very, very happy with this marriage, it seems, because he gave back all those territories which he had conquered from the Gajapatis north of the river Krishna. So he returned all territory north of the river Krishna back to the Gajapati king. So for this achievement of his, he has been given a title Gajapati Saptanga Harana. Gajapati Saptanga Harana. Now, what is the meaning of this? Now, Kautilya in his Arthashastra talks about 7 limbs of a state. There are 7 limbs to a state. What are the 7 limbs to a state? You see here on your screen, I have mentioned it here. Swamin, king. Amatya, minister. Durga, fortress. Bala, army. Kosha, treasury. Janapada, land and people. And Mitra, allies. So, this is Saptanga, the 7 elements or limbs of a state. So what is the title given to Krishnadevaraya? Gajapati Saptanga Harana, the king who took away all the 7 limbs of the Gajapati. Did you understand? The king who took away all the 7 limbs of the Gajapati. Gajapati Saptanga Harana. Harana means Haran Karneka, like Sita Haran, Gajapati Saptanga Harana. The king who took away, Haran is actually kidnapping, but we will not use that word. The king who took away all the 7 limbs of the Gajapati. That's the meaning of that. And this marriage of Krishnadevaraya with Mohanagi or Annapurna Devi was mentioned by a Tamil poet called Kumara Saraswati. So he writes a poem dealing with this marriage. Now, then he attacks Golconda and Bijapur and he plunders Golconda and Bijapur. Then Salavatimma defeated the Qutub Shah Sultan of Golconda and his commander was made a prisoner. Now, when Krishnadevaraya was busy in his Orissa campaign, we have the son of Yusuf Adil Shah, Ismail Adil Shah. Understand this, please. Ismail Adil Shah reconquered the Raichur Doab. Because Krishnadevaraya was far away fighting against Orissa, the Bijapur Sultan, Ismail Adil Shah, got ambitious and he conquered the Raichur Doab from Vijayanagara. Once, after finishing his Kalinga campaign, Krishnadevaraya came back and he wanted to teach a lesson to the Bijapur Sultan. So we have the Battle of Raichur which takes place. And Krishnadevaraya defeated Ismail Adil Shah. Right? And Ismail Adil Shah, understand this, Ismail Adil Shah was asked to lick at his feet. So Krishnadevaraya ordered the Sultan of Bijapur, Ismail Adil Shah, to lick his feet. That way insulting the Bijapur king. He also plundered Bijapur as well as Golconda. So he sacked both Golconda and Bijapur. In 1529, Krishnadevaraya died. These are the military achievements of Krishnadevaraya. Are you there with me? No, we don't have Kalinga Empire as a separate topic, just one. We don't. There's no separate topic for for Kalinga. We will be talking about the Eastern Gangas who ruled Kalinga and the important temples built by them. That's what I'll be talking about. Okay, now look here. The Portuguese, understand this. You see this map here on your screen. See this map on your screen. This is the Straits of Hormuz. These are the Straits of Hormuz, and this area was under the control of the Portuguese. They used to control this area, the Portuguese. And as you know, they dominated the seas around India for about 100 years. They had a very powerful navy, the Portuguese, and they used to harass the merchants and traders in the seas around India. So the Straits of Hormuz was under their control. What the Portuguese used to do is they used to procure Arabian horses, beautiful Arabian stallions. They used to procure from West Asia, Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, etc. Then they used to ship it from Hormuz via the Arabian Sea. They used to ship it to India, and they used to sell these Arabian war horses to not only the Bijapur Sultan but also to Vijayanagara. Right, so they were doing business there, selling horses, war horses, and there was a lot of demand for these war horses among the Bahmani sultans as well as Vijayanagara. Now, what happened is in the year 1509, understand this, in 1509, we have the greatest of the Portuguese governors, Alfonso da Albuquerque. So, Alfonso da Albuquerque sent an ambassador to the court of Krishnadevaraya asking for a treaty. He was requesting a treaty with Krishnadevaraya through his ambassador. So he sent an ambassador, and that ambassador came and met Krishnadevaraya. And Krishnadevaraya was not very comfortable with the Portuguese. He was suspicious of the Portuguese, rather. He was not very sure of their intentions. So he politely spoke to the ambassador and sent him away. But in the year 1510, what happened is the Portuguese conquered Bijapur. Sorry, they conquered Goa. They conquered Goa from the Adil Shah Sultan of Bijapur. The Portuguese conquered Goa. So they conquered Goa from Bijapur. Goa was under the Bijapur Sultan. So they fought against the Bijapur Sultan, the Portuguese, and they conquered Goa. In 1511, the next year, we have Alfonso de Albuquerque sending an ambassador to the court of Krishnadevaraya. His name was Friar Louis. Friar Louis. So Friar Louis came to the court of Krishnadevaraya, and he again renewed this treaty, proposed a treaty. Friar Louis. And now Krishnadevaraya was very sure about the intentions of the Portuguese. He was very sure that the Portuguese have nothing to do with Bijapur because they have defeated the Bijapur Sultan, and he agreed to this treaty. According to this treaty, understand this was signed in between Krishnadevaraya and Friar Louis on behalf of Alfonso de Albuquerque. So according to this treaty, every year the Portuguese were supposed to supply 10,000 war horses, 10,000 Arabian horses to only Vijayanagara. And Krishnadevaraya told the Portuguese ambassador that no horses should be sold to Bijapur, only to Vijayanagara. All those horses should be sold, and Vijayanagara is ready to pay as much as gold and diamond or whatever they want. And this treaty was honored by Vijayanagara every year by both the parties. This treaty was honored by both the parties. So every year, almost 10,000 war horses were shipped across the Straits of Hormuz via the Arabian Sea. And these war horses were received by Vijayanagar soldiers, Vijayanagar officers at a port called Bhatkal. So there's a port called Bhatkal in Karnataka. Bhatkal, Honnavar, Mangalore on the western sea coast. So this was a port which was particularly reserved by the Vijayanagar rulers for receiving the war horses, Arabian war horses. And from Bhatkal, these horses were taken to Hampe. And Friar Louis resided in the court of Krishnadevaraya. Did you understand? This is the treaty which was entered in 1511, a friendly treaty with Albuquerque, according to which Arabian horses were to be sold only to Vijayanagara and not to Bijapur. And Friar Louis resided in the court of Krishnadevaraya. Are you there with me? Yes, he died a natural death, Varsha. 1529 he dies. Krishnadevaraya died. Now, so other aspects of his rule we'll look at. He was called Avinava Bhoja for his patronage to literature. That was one of the titles. His phase is called the classical phase of Telugu literature, and for that he is called Andhra Pitamaha. So he was a great scholar in Telugu and Sanskrit. He wrote a book on polity called Amukta Malyada. This is a Telugu work on polity, Amukta Malyada, and Jambavati Parinaya in 5 acts. This is in Sanskrit language. Now, poet Timmanna was ordered by Krishnadevaraya to complete the Mahabharata, which was written in Kannada. It was incomplete. It was written by Kumaravyasa, and Kumaravyasa could not complete the Mahabharata in Kannada. So Timmanna, on the orders of Krishnadevaraya, was able to complete the Kannada Mahabharata. The Ashtadigajas were supposedly in his court, but please understand, according to latest research, this I might set the cat among the pigeons here, here, because generally it is believed that all the 8 luminaries, Ashtadigajas, were in the court of Krishnadevaraya. That's what most of the books tell us. But according to latest research, it is found that all the Ashtadigajas were not in his court. Only some of them were in his court. There were 8 luminaries, like for example, Navaratnas. Navaratnas in the court of Chandragupta II Vikramaditya, in the Ujjain court, Kalidasa, Varahamihira, Shanku, Betarabhatta, Ghatakarpaka, Kshipanaka, etc. We have seen that when we did Gupta chapter. But then it is said that traditionally Kalidasa was not in the court of Chandragupta II. He was, in fact, according to folklore, in the court of the Paramara king, Bhoja, Raja Bhoja. So like that, there are a lot of theories. One theory says that all the Ashtadigajas were in the court of Krishnadevaraya, but history doesn't support it. We don't have historical evidence regarding that. But generally, Ashtadigajas are considered to be in the court of Krishnadevaraya. So if there's a question asked, you say yes, because most of the books, that's what they say. But anyway, we will make a survey of this. Now, Alasani Peddana, who are these 8 luminaries? Ashtadigajas. What is the meaning of Ashtadigajas? Ashta means 8. In Sanskrit, Ashta is 8. Diggaja. Diggajas, luminaries. Like, elephant size luminaries. Great scholars. Luminaries. Diggaj. Yeah. But this is not Navaratna. This is 8 Ratnas. Ashtadigajas. Now, Alasanni Peddana. Alasanni Peddana. What are the books written by him? Manu Charitam and Harikatha Saransamu. Look here, I'll go to the question directly. Just look here on your screen. Which is this question? Now, UPSC asked a question. I'm just coming to that. Just hold on. Look at this mains question, please. All of you, look at this question. This was asked in 2016. 150 words, 10 marks. Krishnadevaraya, the king of Vijayanagar, was not only an accomplished scholar himself, but was also a great patron of learning and literature. So they've asked this question. 150 words, 10 marks. Now, so they say, well, I'll repeat the question. Krishnadevaraya, the king of Vijayanagar, was not only an accomplished scholar himself, but also a great patron of learning and literature. So for you to answer this question, right, you need to know this factual information. Right, you see here, Ashtadigajas were supposedly in his court, but then when you write that answer, at least you need to mention the names of some of the books written by these scholars. Only then you'll be able to complete that answer, isn't it? So therefore, this is a factual information, but nevertheless, in the mains, they've asked this. It's not only analysis, but sometimes factual information is also asked, as you can see. So, Alasani Peddana wrote Manu Charitam and Harikatha Saransamu. These are all in Telugu language, mind you. The Ashtadigajas wrote in Telugu language. Telugu. Now, Manu Charitam and Harikatha Saransamu. Harikatha Saransamu. And his Manu Charitam is considered to be the first Prabandha in Telugu literature. And what is the title given to Alasani Peddana? Alasani Peddana is called Andhra Kavita Pitamaha. Andhra Kavita Pitamaha. The father of, Andhra, is called Andhra Kavi. Andhra Kavita Pitamaha, the father among the poets of Andhra, Alasani Peddanna. That was the title given by Krishnadevaraya to Peddanna. Nandi Timmanna, he writes Parijata Paharanam. Parijata Paharanam. This was dedicated to Krishnadevaraya. Then Madaya Gari Mallanna, Rajashekara Charitam, Durjati Kalahasti Shataka or Kalahastishwara Mahatyam, Pingali Surana, Kala Purnodayam, Raghava Pandaviyam, Prabhavati Pradyumna. And please understand, Pingali Surana dedicated his works to his patron Krishnamaraju, a vassal of Vijayanagara at Nandyal. So there was a feudatory of Vijayanagara at Nandyal. Nandyal is the hometown of the ex-Prime Minister of India, P.V. Narasimha Rao. So P.V. Narasimha Rao was from Nandyal, ex-Prime Minister of India. So there was a vassal of Krishnadevaraya ruling from Nandyal called Krishnamaraju, and Pingali Surana dedicated his works to that vassal of Nandyal, not to Krishnadevaraya. So from that we come to know that Pingali Surana was not in the court of Krishnadevaraya. Okay, next, Tenali Ramakrishna. So some of you have mentioned in here that you have looked at the stories, on national TV. It has come in many, cable on many channels on cable TV or satellite TV. We have this program, the court jester of Krishnadevaraya, supposed to be a brilliant man like Birbal and Akbar, Tenali Rama Krishna and Krishnadevaraya. So Tenali Ramakrishna, what are the books written by him? Udbhatacharya Charitam, Udbhatacharya Charitam, Panduranga Mahatyam. So he is called Vikatakavi. Tenali Ramakrishna is called Vikatakavi, and his Panduranga Mahatyam is dedicated to Venkatapati Raya II, an Aravidu king. So Aravidu dynasty comes much later after the death of Krishnadevaraya, and he dedicates this Panduranga Mahatyam to an Aravidu king, Venkatapati Raya II. From here, we come to know that Tenali Ramakrishna was not in the court of Krishnadevaraya. Did you get me that? Yeah, cartoons also. You're right, Sumo. So from that we come to know history doesn't support this fact. But then generally, all these 8 luminaries are considered to be living in the court of Krishnadevaraya. Then Ramaraja Bhushana, he writes Vasucharitam. So original name Bhattu Murthy. And Vasucharitam was dedicated to Tirumala Raya, an Aravidu king, and Ayala Raju Ramabhadra, Sakala Niti Sara Sangraha, Ramabhyudaya. These are the books written by Ayala Raju Ramabhadra. These are the 8 luminaries in the court of Krishnadevaraya. 8 luminaries. Then poet Peddanna was personally honored by Krishnadevaraya. So Peddanna was made to sit in a palanquin, and one of the side of the palanquin was held by the emperor himself. So Peddanna sat in the palanquin. Palanquin was held by many people, and one part of the palanquin was held by the emperor on his shoulders. So that is the respect and honor Krishnadevaraya gave to Peddanna, and so I mentioned that here. Then Peddanna was the one who gave him the title Kannada Rama Ramana. He founded the city of Nagalapur in memory of his mother Nagamba. So he founded the city called Nagalapur in memory of his mother Nagamba. He built a number of gopurams, that is, entrance gateway to a temple. And so if this is a temple, understand this, if this is a temple, we have a compound. So this is the compound of the temple. And the main gateway, you have a gopura. This is called gopuram. You see here, this is called a Raya Gopuram, entrance tower to a South Indian temple, gopuram. So these gopurams were highlighted. It was made much bigger and taller. So they are called Raya Gopurams. So he built a number of Raya Gopurams, and he constructed the Basava channel, a canal called the Basava Canal or channel. So Krishnadevaraya constructed the following temples at Hampe. So what are the temples he built? Hampavati temple. At one place, the Gopuram falls inverted. The shadow of the Gopuram falls on the ground inverted, right? Then 1,000-pillared Mantapa, Lotus Palace, Lotus Mahal. So this is called Lotus Mahal or Kamal Mahal in English. Kamal, it is also called Kamal Mahal. Kamal is lotus. Kamal Mahal. So he built this Kamal Mahal. And as you can see, It has got Hindu and Islamic features. Both Hindu and Islamic features are found in this Lotus Mahal. It is at Hampe. Then the Hazara Rama temple, it was expanded by Krishnadevara. This was built by Devaraya II. You can see here, Hazara Rama temple. It was built by Devaraya II, but Krishnadevara expanded it. And why is it called Hazara Rama temple? As you know, Hazar in Hindi is 1,000. So in this temple we have 1,000 Ramayana paintings. I mentioned it here. There are 1,000 Ramayana paintings inside this temple. That's why it's called Hazara Rama temple. Then we have the Vijaya Vithala temple, which was again built by Devaraya II. This is the Vijaya Vithala temple, built by Devaraya II, and this temple has 56 pillars. Understand this? There are 56 pillars made of stone. Each pillar is 3.6 meters in height. And if you tap gently on those stone pillars, they make sound. They make music. They're made of stone. So very, fabulous thing. And one of the British officers, he took a hammer and he hit one of the pillars, and the pillar broke because he wanted to find out what is inside that stone pillar, which is creating the sound, and he did not find anything. It was a hollow, right? So one of the pillars has been damaged by a British officer like that. So when you tap these stone pillars, they create music. So this is the Vijaya Vithala temple, and in its premises we have a monolithic chariot. Um, stands in its premises, and this monolithic chariot was ordered to be constructed by Krishnadevaraya. Understand this? So here, please understand. I'll answer your question, Ankush. Just hold on. So when Krishnadevaraya conquered Orissa, when he went to Puri, he went to Katak. He married the daughter of the Gajapati king. Then he happened to visit the Konark Sun Temple. He went to Konark and he saw the Sun Temple there. Now, he was so much impressed with the Sun Temple that Krishnadevaraya ordered that he wants something like that in his capital. And the inspiration for this monolithic chariot is the Orissa Sun Temple, the Konark Sun Temple at Orissa. So this is the inspiration for this monolithic chariot. This is the stone chariot in the courtyard of the Vijaya Vithala temple. So in its courtyard, we have a monolithic chariot, right? So that's the inspiration behind it. Then he added a Kalyana Mandapa to the Virupaksha temple. So this is the Virupaksha temple in Hampi. This Virupaksha is a form of Shiva. I mentioned it here. Virupaksha is a form of Shiva. This temple was already there. A Kalyana Mandap was added to this temple by Krishnadevaraya. Kalyana Mandap is where the god and the god's consort are married on ceremonial occasions. God and his wife are married in that hall. So he added a Kalyana Mandapa, and this Virupaksha temple was built by Lakkan Dandesha, a Nayaka under King Devaraya II. Then we have a monolithic statue of Ugra Narasimha, that is Vishnu in his Narasimha form, seated on a coiled serpent. This was ordered by Krishnadevaraya to be sculpted. So these are the elephant stables in Hampi. This is the Lakshmi Narasimha statue, 6.7 meters in height, and we have Vishnu in the form of Narasimha sitting on a coiled serpent. You can see the serpent here. So this is about Krishnadevaraya. Once Krishnadevaraya died, what happened? He had no sons, Krishnadevaraya. Therefore, his half-brother, Achyutaraya, became the king. And that's the time when you have Ismail Adil Shah reconquering the Raichur Doab. Ismail Adil Shah recaptured the Raichur Doab. And his wife Tirumalamba wrote Varadambika Paranayam. And Ramaraya forced Achyutaraya to take him into administration. Ramaraya was a son-in-law of Krishnadevaraya. Ramaraya, I told you. So he forced Achyutaraya to take him into administration. And once Achyutaraya died, we have Ramaraya putting the nephew of Achyutaraya, Sadashivaraya, on the throne. So once Achyutaraya died, Ramaraya proclaimed Sadashivaraya as the king, the nephew of Achyutaraya. And all the power was held by this Ramaraya, the son-in-law of Krishnadevaraya. So Sadashivaraya was the last ruler. And we have Ramaraya and his two brothers, Tirumala and Venkatadi, running the administration. And all the power was in the hands of Ramaraya. And Ramaraya has been blamed for the destruction of Vijayanagara. I told you he would play one Bahmani Sultan against another. So as a result, we have a grand alliance which was created. And initially, Ramaraya began his career as a trusted officer under the Golconda Sultan, Sultan Kuli Qutub Shah. So he was serving under the Sultan of Golconda, Kuli Qutub Shah. That's where he began his career. And later he came and joined with the Vijayanagara administration. So this Ramaraya uh, began to play one Bahmani Sultan against another. And ultimately, they realized that uh, the man behind their bickerings, their quarrels, was this Ramaraya. So out of 5 sultans, 4 of them joined together. We have the king of Golconda, Qutub Shah, Ibrahim Qutub Shah of Golconda. He formed a grand alliance. And who are the people who were part of this alliance? The king of Ahmednagar, Hussein Nizam Shah. The king of Bijapur, Ali Adil Shah. Golconda Sultan, Ibrahim Qutub Shah himself. And Bidar, Ali Barid of Bidar. Burhan Yilmaz Shah was not invited. So Bidar was not part of this alliance. 4 of them joined together out of the 5. And they combinedly attacked Vijayanagara. So all these armies congregated at a place called Talikota. So Talikota was only a stage, a gathering point. It was a gathering point for the Sultanate armies. So all the armies of the 4 sultanates, they congregated at Talikota. And from Talikota, they moved towards the battlefield where the battle was supposed to take place. The battle of Rakkasagi, Tangadagi, between 2 villages, Rakkasagi and Tangadagi. So the battle of Talikota, also called Rakkasagi, Tangadagi, and this happened in 1565, January 23rd. January 23rd, 1565, the battle of Talikota. And this was a picture I found in one of the magazines, Frontline magazine. This is supposed to be the plains on the banks of the river Krishna where the battle is supposed to have taken place. The battle of Talikota or Rakkasagi, Tangadagi. So I told you 4 Bahmani sultans had come together. So even if you take a modest estimate of 3 lakhs, even if each of the sultans had 3 lakh soldiers, so 4 into 3 is 12 lakhs. 12 lakhs versus 7 lakhs of Vijayanagara. Vijayanagara had an army of 7 lakhs under Krishnadevaraya. So if you take 12 lakhs versus 7 lakhs, they were outnumbered. Vijayanagara was outnumbered. In this battle of Talikota, Ramaraya was beheaded by the king of Ahmednagar, Hussein Nizam Shah. Hussein Nizam Shah of Ahmednagar beheaded Ramaraya. The king Sadashivaraya, along with the brothers of Ramaraya, came running back from the battlefield. So they understood that Vijayanagara was losing and that they were outnumbered. So Sadashivaraya came running to the capital along with the 2 brothers of Ramaraya. And Sadashivaraya with his family and treasure ran away to Penukonda. Okay, and he ruled till 1570. For 5 years he ruled. Once he died, Tirumala Raya, the brother of Ramaraya, seized the throne, captured the throne, and he established the Aravidu dynasty, which ruled from Penukonda. Now, what happened in the Battle of Talikota or Battle of Rakkasagi Tangadagi? Vijayanagara was defeated. Vijayanagara was defeated, and Robert Sewell puts it beautifully in his book, A Forgotten Empire. But then I believe once the battle was won, the Bahmani sultans entered the city of Hampe, the capital of Vijayanagara, and they gave a license to their soldiers. They told their soldiers, whatever you touch is yours, except elephants. Except elephants, whatever you touch is yours. Now we are told that the systematic destruction of Vijayanagara went on for continuously 4.5 months. For about 4.5 to 5 months, we have the continuous destruction of Vijayanagara with hammers, pickaxes, um, uh, crowbars. They razed the city of Victory to its ground, and they looted and plundered Vijayanagara. And therefore, now it is in Kannada called Halu Hampe, the city of ruins. The city of ruins. Now, this is the interpretation, understand this. This is the interpretation given by Robert Sewell in his book, The Forgotten Empire. Now, what does he say? He says, with fire and sword, with hammers and pickaxes, they carried day after day their story of destruction. Never perhaps in the history of the world has such havoc been wrought. and wrought so suddenly on so splendid a city, teeming with wealthy and industrious population, in the full plenitude of prosperity on one day, and on the next siege, pillage, and reduced to ruins, amid scenes of savage horrors begging description. That's what he says in his book, A Forgotten Empire. And this is the interpretation given by Robert Sewell, and modern historians have pondered over it, whether it is true. Look here, so we have contemporary historians who have talked about this battle and have given snippets of some of the information given by these scholars, like Muhammad Qasim Ferishta, right? And one more person. So he talks about these battles, this battle of Talikota. Now, Robert Sewell, in his book Forgotten Empire, tells like this: with fire and sword, with crowbars and axes, they carried on day after day their work of destruction. Never perhaps in the history of the world has such havoc been wrought, and wrought so suddenly on so splendid a city, teeming with a wealthy and industrious population in the full plenitude of prosperity on one day, and on the next siege, pillage, and reduced to ruins, amid scenes of savage massacre and horrors begging description. So one day it was so prosperous, and on the next day it was sieged, captured, and reduced to ruins. That's what he says. And modern historians have pondered over this, whether it's true. Now, if you go to Hampe, what do you see? You see some temples are intact. The Virupaksha temple is intact. The Hazara Rama temple is intact. The Vijaya Vithala temple is intact. The Ugra Narasimha statue is intact. The Lotus Mahal is intact, etc., etc. Now, the question is, why did not the Bahmani army destroy these temples? And around the vicinity of Hampe, we see many temples being destroyed. Many temples have been destroyed. Now, we cannot discount the fact that the Bahmani armies might have not looted it. Definitely, did loot and plunder Vijayanagara. But then to accuse the Bahmani Muslim soldiers to be alone responsible for the destruction of Vijayanagara is wrong. This according to latest research, not according to me, according to latest evidence. Because many of the temples in Hampe are still intact. And among the temples which we see which have been destroyed are Shaiva temples. Shiva temples, more number of Shiva temples have been destroyed, and very less Vaishnava temples have been destroyed. Now the question is, why would the Muslims make a distinction between Shiva and Vishnu temples? If they wanted to destroy, they would have destroyed all the temples equally. Now, without making a distinction between Shaivism and Vaishnavism. So the answer obviously is, you have the Vaishnavites and the Shaivites who fought against each other later, and it was the Vaishnavas who have destroyed many of the Shiva temples, and vice versa. It is not the Bahmani soldiers. So, and this is please understand, this is a British construct. This is a British mischief. Like, for example, remember, we have done, you have, as part of modern India, you do revolt of 1857, right? The Sepoy Mutiny. And what happened in the Sepoy Mutiny? Hindus and Muslims fought together. Hindus and Muslims fought together against the British and uprooted British authority in many various parts of India. And with great difficulty, the British were able to reconquer Delhi and re-establish their rule in this country. And of course, the Parliament of England took over the control of India. The company rule was ended. Now, from 1870 onwards, the British began to officially follow the policy of divide and rule. Divide and rule. Right? They understood that it is necessary to divide the Hindus and the Muslims so that they don't join together again, in order to perpetuate British rule over this country. And this is a British mischief. And Robert Sewell has done the same thing. He writes this book in 1900, and he accuses the Muslim army of the Bahmani sultans being responsible for the destruction of Vijayanagara. They might have destroyed a few temples, not everything, because they might have plundered and looted. 100%, we cannot discount that fact. If you go back to history of India, the Chola history, we have spoken about Cholas earlier as part of medieval India. And I told you, during the time of Kulatunga Chola, we have the Shaivites fighting against the Vaishnavites. And Ramanuja Ramanacharya, who was a Vaishnava scholar, came running from the Chola country and took shelter in the region of Melkote under the Hoysala kingdom, in the Hoysala kingdom. And for 20 years he remained here because Kulatunga Chola, during his period, you have Shaivism was very, very popular under the Cholas. So here, whatever destruction, majority of the destruction has been done by the Vaishnavas and the Shaivas. It was not done by the Bahamani army, and this is according to latest research. So please keep that in mind. Okay, I'll give you a break. Just hold on. I had to continue the story. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Okay, I'll stop here. We'll go for a break and continue the story now of Vijayanagara. 7:15 now. We'll meet at what? 7:30. Come back at 7:30. I'll continue the story of Vijayanagara. We'll discuss the other smaller kingdoms, including the Bahamani sultans, and then end medieval India. Then I'll give you an overview of art and culture. Okay, and once I give you an overview, if time permits, I'll start with the first topic. Okay, carry on. 7:30. Meet at 7:30. Yeah. Um, Good evening. Can we continue? Hello. Right. So let us look at other aspects of the Vijayanagar kingdom, the Aravidu dynasty. So after the Talikota battle, as we have seen, the king Sadashivaraya ran away to Penukonda. He ruled from Penukonda for about 5 years. He died in 1570. Thereupon, one of the brothers of Ramaraya, by name Tirumala, seized the throne and established the Aravidu dynasty, which ruled from initially from Penukonda, later from Chandragiri and Vellore as its capitals. So Aravidu dynasty, 1570 to 1680. So they ruled from Penukonda, later Chandragiri and Vellore as its capitals. The founder was Tirumala Raya. And the Nayakas of Keladi became independent during his reign. The Nayakas of Keladi, they were also serving under the Vijayanagar kings. So Tirumala, one of the brothers of Ramaraya, divided his kingdom on linguistic basis. He had three sons, and he left three areas under his three sons on linguistic grounds. So Sriranga, one of his sons called Sriranga, ruled the Andhra area, the Telugu area, with Penukonda as capital. Then Rama administered the Canaries area, that is Kannada speaking areas, with Srirangapatna as capital. And Venkatapati ruled the Tamil country, the Tamil areas, Tamil speaking areas, with Chandragiri as capital. So on the basis of on the linguistic basis, he divided the kingdom into three parts and kept it under his three sons. The last representative of the Vijayanagar kingdom was Srinanga III. So he ultimately sought shelter under Shivapanayaka of Keladi. So he lost his capital Vellore. Vellore was the last capital of the Vijayanagar kings. And later he sought shelter under the Shivapanayaka of Keladi. That was the end of Vijayanagara. So let us look at other aspects of the Vijayanagar government. Now we have the Vijayanagar local government. Country was divided into kuttams. You can see in Karnataka, this is how the kingdom was divided. In Karnataka, the Kannada speaking areas, the kingdom was divided into provinces. Further, so province was subdivided into Vente into Sime, and Sthala, and then Varita. In the rest of the areas, we have the kingdom divided into country, divided to Kuttam, subdivided to Kuttam, Nadu, Aimbadi Maligram, and Nagaram. So this is how it was divided. The kingdom or country was divided to Kuttam, further into Nadu, then Aimbadi Maligram, and Agaram. Right? Left side, what is coming? Okay, just hold on. I think this is the bag. Right? So don't bother about it, just focus on the class. Is it okay? Has it disappeared? I think that's my bag. Okay. Just hold on. Yeah? Right. Now, a very interesting feature of Vijayanagar administration is the Ayagar system, particularly in the villages. What is this Ayagar system? It was a body of 12 village functionaries, and they were given tax-free lands called manyams. So here in a village, you require the services of some people, like carpenter. You require a carpenter. You require a blacksmith. Okay. Then you require a barber, right? And so on and so forth. So they were a body of 12 village functionaries they are called Ayagars. And they enjoyed tax-free lands called manyams, right, for perpetuity. Now, how are these village functionaries paid? Of course, they enjoyed tax-free land grants, but how do the people pay them? For example, let's say I'm a member of a village, I'm a resident of a village, and let's say I'm the landlord of the village. I will call the barber home. So the barber will come to my house. I will not go to his shop. He will come to my house, and he will cut my hair, and then I'll not pay him anything. And in a year, I might get his services, use his services for a few times, maybe 7 or 8 times in a year. And every time I don't pay him anything. So when do I pay him? After the harvest. Once in a year after the harvest, I'll give him a lump sum. Maybe let us say 5 bags of paddy or 5 bags of wheat. That would be his yearly remuneration for the services which he is supposed to perform the whole year. So this was the Iyengar system which was existing in Vijayanagara. Are you there with me? Iyengar system. In Maharashtra, they were called Bara Balutas. No, Bara Balutas, a body of 12 village functionaries. Clear? Did you get me that? So then we have various types of taxes. Land revenue was the main source of income. Apart from land tax, you have other taxes like property tax, professional taxes was there, tax on sale of produce, professional taxes, military contribution, taxes on marriages also. So yeah, it was existing in villages, but of course now things have changed. Even now, in some places, that system exists where during the harvest, a lump sum amount of grain is given away to these people. But nowadays, of course, they demand money as a remuneration, right? Then you see two aspects where the Vijayanagar rulers depended upon two things entirely on foreigners. One was, of course, firearms. So firearms, and that is gunpowder, firearms, and then, of course, cavalry, horses. So these two, cavalry and firearms, were supplied by foreigners, particularly the Portuguese. So Portuguese and Muslim traders. The Muslims supplied cavalry, also the Portuguese, and of course, firearms were supplied by the Portuguese alone. So for to do these two things, they depend entirely on foreigners, right? Society, of course, you have the rulers protecting the Varnashrama Dharma, that is the four Varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. You have rise of social consciousness, a number of artisan communities existed, and they were pretty conscious. Like, for example, the Vipra Vinodins, the Veera Panchalas, that is artisan classes like blacksmith, goldsmiths, they are called Veera Panchalas. Kaikullas were weavers, Tottiyans or Kambalattar, that is early shepherds, later Palagas. So you have rise of social consciousness among different communities. Besabaga and Sela people was known. So slavery existed in Vijayanagara, slavery existed, prostitution existed, and prostitutes had to, so they had to pay a tax. So a state legalized prostitution. So prostitution is supposed to be the oldest profession on this earth. And you have rich and the mighty of Vijayanagara used to visit these prostitutes with, and they used to feel very proud, according to Abdul Razak. That's what he tells us. And the taxes collected from the prostitutes went on to pay the salaries of the Vijayanagar police. We have Sati, which was voluntarily, right? And the women were respected, of course, and they accompanied the kings in campaigns also. So it's a mixed opinion. You have, you cannot say that women were not exploited. Definitely, there was slavery. There was, hundreds and thousands of women were married by Vijayanagar kings. 12,000 to 13,000. Niccolo Conti says that was the number of women married by the Vijayanagar kings. Each person had so many wives. So obviously, you cannot say that their position was great. But then you also have a lot of independence given to women. So because we have examples of soothsayers, wrestlers, bodyguards, and other professionals among the women. So sati was voluntary, and Gaudas, Nayakas, Lingayats were the ones who practiced sati. And people like poets and moralists like Sarvagna, Kanakadasa, Kapila, Vemana, they led a crusade against the untouchability and caste restrictions. They opposed all these practices in the society, like untouchability and caste restrictions. So this is about Vijayanagar society. So you have a webinar today? Yeah. Hello. Mega says there's a webinar. Okay. Fine. Thanks for reminding me, Mega. I hope to finish this topic before the webinar, and we have another how many minutes? About at least 40 minutes to go. So I think that time is enough. Then we have some of the important officials. Rayasa Swami was the chief secretary. Remember these administrative terminologies, please. Rayasa Swami was the chief secretary in Vijayanagar kingdom, in the Vijayanagar government. Sasanacharya drafted the oral orders of the king. So something like the PA of the king, when the king gave oral orders, that was drafted, written by the Sasanacharya. Talayari performed police duties in the village. Talayari. Athavana was the revenue, related to trade and commerce. Athavana department, related to trade and commerce. Okay, so this is about Vijayanagara. Any doubts here? Any questions? Any clarifications required? I have finished Vijayanagara chapter, a huge chapter, but then we have done a broad survey of Vijayanagara. Can I go to other regional kingdoms? Any doubts? Any questions? So go to the PPTs first, then go back and read the textbook. Read one textbook. I told you either Satish Chandra or Poonam Dalal Dahiya. Can I go to the next segment of this chapter? Okay. So other regional kingdoms, we have the Bahmani Sultanate. Okay, doesn't matter, Bhimare, if you don't believe. But then there could have been a possibility that he says 12,000 wives. I will not believe, but that's the opinion given by Niccolo Conti. There could have been a possibility. Anyway, we'll come back here. Bahmani Sultanate, we will discuss that. The 5 Bahmani kingdoms. So Bahmani Sultanate split up into 5 states. We'll discuss that. Then, of course, the Eastern Gangas who ruled Orissa, some of the important rulers, the temples built by them, scholars patronized by them. So these are all dynasties or kingdoms which are established between the establishment of the Delhi Sultanate. So between the Delhi Sultanate, 1206, and Mughal Empire, 1526. So between the establishment of the Delhi Sultanate and the establishment of the Mughal Empire, a number of kingdoms were established in medieval India. So we'll make a quick survey of these, like the Shamir dynasty of Kashmir, the Sharki dynasty of Jaunpur, etc. We'll look into it. Bahmani Sultanate. So as we have seen, Hassan Gangu, he was an officer under Muhammad bin Tughlaq, Hassan Gangu. So in 1347, he rebelled against Muhammad bin Tughlaq, this Hassan Gangu, and established the Bahmani kingdom. And Hassan Gangu took a title, Abdul Muzaffar Alauddin Bahman Shah. Abdul Muzaffar Alauddin Bahman Shah. He makes Gulbarga his capital, and he renamed Gulbarga as Asanabad. He called Gulbarga as Asanabad. And later, another king of this dynasty, that is Ahmad Shah Wali. Ahmad Shah Wali shifted the capital from Gulbarga to Bidar. So initial capital was Gulbarga, later capital was Bidar. Both are in Karnataka, present-day Karnataka. So Gulbarga was the initial capital of the Vijayanagar kings. In 1424, Bidar became the capital. And the Bahmani sultans fought against Vijayanagara over 3 areas. We know this: the Krishna Tungabhadra basin, that is the Raichur Dove, the Krishna Godavari delta, and the Konkan coast. Now let us look at the important kings of the Bahmani Sultanate. Tajuddin Firuz Shah Bahmani. Tajuddin Firuz Shah Bahmani, he fought against Devaraya the First. You remember, Devaraya the First was defeated by Tajuddin Firuz Shah Bahmani. Firuz Shah Bahmani married Devaraya's daughter. Bankapur in the Dove was given away as a dowry by Devaraya the First to Firuz Shah Bahmani. But later you have Vijayanagara, Warangal defecting from the side of Bahmanis. So Warangal joined Vijayanagara. That resulted in Devaraya the First defeating Firuz Shah Bahmani, right? So he built an observatory at Daulatabad. This Firuz Shah Bahmani built an observatory at Daulatabad or Devagiri. Then Ahmad Shah Wali. So Ahmad Shah Wali, he was called Wali or a saint. Why is called Wali? Wali means saint, right? So he shifted the capital from Gulbarga to Bidar in 1424. Ahmad Shah fought against Devaraya II. I told you, we don't know what happened to this to the battle between Devaraya II and Ahmad Shah, but he shifted the capital to far away Bidar. And from that, historians presume that probably Devaraya had an upper hand against Ahmad Shah Bahmani. Now, this Ahmad Shah Bahmani was the disciple of a Sufi saint called Gesudaras. So, Khwaja Bande Nawaz Gesudaras. So, you please understand, when when Muhammad bin Tughlaq shifted the capital from Delhi to Devagiri, you remember he had shifted the capital from Delhi to South India, Devagiri, and Devagiri was renamed Daulatabad. Now, Once he shifted the capital, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, many scholars came to South India, many Sufi saints, engineers, architects, painters, and also Sufi saints came to South India. And among the people who came to South India was this man, Khwaja Bande Nawaz Gesudaras. Of course, Muhammad bin Tughlaq reshifted the capital back to Delhi, but Gesudaras never went back to Delhi. He stayed back in South India, and he died in South India, and he has been buried at Gulbarga. So we have the dargah of this saint, a Sufi saint called Gesudaras at Gulbarga. And many of the Hindus also go there and visit this dargah and pray to him. Ahmad Shah Wali, the king, is also considered to be a saint by many of the followers in parts of Karnataka, and people go there. Hindus also go and pay their respects to the dargah of Ahmad Shah Wali, who is considered to be a saint. He was only a disciple of Gesudaras, but Ahmad Shah is also considered to be a saint. And Ahmad Shah Wali is supposed to have lured members of the Niyamatullah or the Sufi lineage. They came to South India from Iran. It was a Sufi lineage called Niyamatullah. So he lured members of this Sufi lineage to come to South India to be there. So this is the tomb of Ahmad Shah Wali, Bahamani Sultan Ahmad Shah Wali at Ashtur in Bidar. And this is the dargah. This is the dargah of this king Ahmad Shah Wali. This is his tomb, as you can see here in the picture. And this man is supposed to be the descendant of the Bahamani Sultan. This man here. So this I got from Frontline magazine. You see, Frontline February last year for February. So this was in the Frontline magazine. I put it here. Right. Then Muhammad Shah III. Muhammad Shah III had this minister called Mahmud Gaman. His prime minister was Mahmud Gaman. He was an Afaki, he was a foreigner, and he was given the title of Malikul Tujjar. He was the person who strengthened the Bahamani Empire, expanded it rapidly. He conquered the Raichur Doab, the Krishna Tungabhadra Basin, the Krishna Godavari Delta. He defeated the Vijayanagar kings. He defeated even the Orissa ruler. And he had Mangalore as his capital. Mangalore was his chief port. And he built a college at Bidar, Madrasa. Madrasa is a college. As you can see, this is the Madrasa or a college built at Bidar by Mahmud Gawan. So Mahmud Gawan was the right-hand man of Muhammad Shah III. He was a very popular minister, prime minister. And the Deccani Muslims were very jealous of him. Yesterday I told you the story of Bahmani Sultanate, how it disintegrated into 5 states. So Mahmud Gawan was the prime minister of Muhammad Shah III, and the Deccani nobles were conspiring against him. So the Deccani nobles conspired against this Mahmud Gawan, who was an Afaki noble, a foreigner, and they got him executed. And that broke the heart of the Sultan once he came to know that this was only a conspiracy. And he died within a year. So that after this, Bahmani Sultanate quickly declined. And the last ruler was Shihabuddin Muhammad Shah. And after him, we have the Bahmani Empire, which split up into 5 states. 5 independent kingdoms were born. So the Imad Shahis of Birar, the Barid Shahis of Bidar, the Nizam Shahis of Ahmednagar, the Adil Shahis of Bijapur, and the Qutub Shahis of Golconda. So these are the 5 splinter states of the Bahmani Empire. Okay, we'll see that, Gunjan. Just hold on. Let me finish this first. Gunjan is saying, start art and culture tomorrow. Give us a break early. We'll see, Gunjan. Just hold on. So let us look at the important splinter states. Birar, the Imad Shahi dynasty ruled Birar. This was the first to break away from the Bahmani Empire. First to break away. Who was the founder? Fatullah Imadul Mulk. Fatullah Imadul Mulk, and he ruled from Gavilgad. Gavilgad was his capital. Birar was, so that was a kingdom which ruled somewhere in present-day Maharashtra, parts of Maharashtra, what is now called Maharashtra. So that was the kingdom, Birar. Later, Ahmednagar, a much more powerful kingdom, conquered Birar. So Ahmednagar annexed Birar in 1574. Then we have Bidar, the Barid Shahis of Bidar. Barid Shahis ruled here. The founder was Qasim Barid. So he was the one who imprisoned his king, Qasim Barid. He was the prime minister of the Bahmani Sultan, Shihabuddin Muhammad. So he imprisoned his master and declared his independence. But later, Bidar was conquered by Bijapur. So Bijapur conquered Bidar in 1619. So Birar was conquered by Ahmednagar. Bidar was conquered by Bijapur. Right? Then Ahmednagar, founder was Malik Ahmad Nizam Shah in 1494. This is on the banks of the Sina River. So Ahmednagar, again in Maharashtra, present-day Maharashtra, founder was Malik Ahmad Nizam Shah. So he built the city of Ahmednagar and transferred the capital from Junnah to Ahmednagar. And Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, in his book Discovery of India, tells us that this was a locally born dynasty. So this Ahmad Nizam Shah was a son of a person called Nizamul Mulk, was a son of Nizamul Mulk Bhairi, a minister of the Bahmani kings, and this Nizamul Mulk was the son of a Brahmin accountant. So they are called Bhairu. So it was a local dynasty. It was of indigenous origin, he says, Pandit Nehru in his book, The Discovery of India. Nizam Shah is fought against Ahmednagar, against Mughal Emperor Akbar, Chand Bibi. Chand Bibi fought against the Mughals, and also Malik Kambar, who was a minister of the Ahmednagar kingdom. Shah Jahan conquered Ahmednagar in 1633. Remember, I have told you Shivaji's father and grandfather served the Ahmednagar Sultanate, and later when Shah Jahan conquered Ahmednagar, they shifted their loyalties. Saji Bhosle shifted the loyalties to Bijapur. So this is about Ahmednagar Sultanate. Then we have Bijapur. Out of the 5 splinter states, this was the most powerful, strongest of the 5 splinter states. The founder was Yusuf Adil Shah. Yusuf Adil Shah was killed by Krishnadevaraya in the battle of Kovilkonda, right? Then some of the important rulers are as follows. You have Ibrahim Adil Shah II. He is considered to be the greatest of the Adil Shah rulers. He was a devotee of goddess Saraswati, I believe. And his tomb is at Bijapur. It's called Ibrahim Rauza. So the tomb of Ibrahim Adil Shah II. He wrote Navaras Nama and founded a city called town called Navaraspur. Right. So Ibrahim Rauza is considered to be the most beautiful monument built by the Adil Shah rulers of Bijapur. It is not Gol Gumbaz. It is supposedly Ibrahim Rauza, according to Henry Cousin, an art historian. So this is Ibrahim Rauza in Bijapur, designed by Ethiopian architect called Malik Sandal. So this is supposed to be this is supposed to be an imitation of the Taj Mahal, right? So this is supposed to be an imitation or resembles the Taj Mahal. Then Muhammad Adil Shah, he built the Gol Gumbaz. This is the tomb of Muhammad Adil Shah. Muhammad Adil Shah, Gol Gumbaz. Has anybody been to Gol Gumbaz in Bijapur? Has anybody been to Gol Gumbaz in Bijapur? Nobody? None of you here in the class? Nobody. Okay. What about Bhimare? Bhimare seems to be from Karnataka. Okay, nobody. Doesn't matter. You look here. This is the tomb of Muhammad Adil Shah, the Gol Gumbaz. Now, you can see a dome here. You can see a dome. This is the world's second largest dome. This is the second largest dome in the world. Now, which is the biggest dome in the world? We have the St. Peter's Cathedral in Rome. So St. Peter's Cathedral, St. Peter's Basilica or Cathedral in Vatican City, Rome. So this is the headquarters of the Pope. So that church or basilica has the biggest dome in the world. But that dome in Rome, Vatican City, has a central pillar. It has a central pillar supporting the dome. Okay, but it is the biggest dome in the world. Without a supporting pillar, this becomes the biggest dome in the world. This dome in Bijapur doesn't have a supporting pillar. So without a supporting pillar, this becomes the biggest dome in the world. And this is the tomb of Muhammad Adil Shah. And it is famous for the Whispering Gallery. So if you go there, you have to climb very steep stairs. And then you reach the topmost. Inside, you have this huge dome. It is very, very huge in size. And the unique aspect of this dome is the Whispering Gallery. So you have echo there. Let us say if you say hello, you'll hear echo. Hello, 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 like that. So 7 times you from your ears you can hear echo, and then a measuring instrument, echo measuring instrument, you can hear it 11 times, including the tick tick of your watch. If you take a wristwatch and you place against the wall of the Gol Gumbaz on the top in the gallery, in the dome. Within the dome, you have a gallery. You can go around the gallery. If you keep even your wristwatch to the wall, and you go to the other end of the dome, and the other end of the dome is about, let's say, about 100 meters away, about 100, 150 meters away, the other end of the dome, and you put your ear to the wall, and everything is quiet, you can hear the click click or the tick tick of the second the make the your wristwatch making the sound, your the second arm of your wristwatch making the sound. You can hear that. That's how clear it is. The British call it as a fluke. They said it's a fluke. Anyway, whatever they cannot do, they'll call it as a fluke. So this is the second largest dome in the world, right? And then, of course, Aurangzeb conquered Bijapur in 1686. Then we have Golconda, the Qutub Shahis of Golconda. So let us look at the important rulers. You have Kuli Qutub ul Mulk. Kuli Qutub ul Mulk, he was the founder of this dynasty. He also founded the city of Golconda. Golconda became his capital, and he built the Golconda Fort. This is the Golconda Fort on the outskirts of Hyderabad. Has anybody gone to Golconda Fort? Yeah, I have. So Golconda Fort, on the outskirts of Hyderabad, you have Golconda Fort, about 30 kilometers away from the city of Hyderabad. So one of the biggest forts in India is the Golconda Fort, built by Kuli Qutubul Mulk. Okay, when you get a chance, you can visit, no problem, right? Then Ibrahim Qutub Shah, he built Hussain Sagar. So if you have visited Hyderabad, you have the twin cities of Hyderabad, Secunderabad. So you have the Tank Bund Road. You have a main road which connects Hyderabad to Secunderabad. And next to that Tank Bund Road, you have a lake that's called Hussain Sagar Lake. That was built by Ibrahim Qutub Shah. So he built the Hussain Sagar Lake and also the Ibrahim Patnam tanks. Right? Then Muhammad Kuli Qutub Shah, he founded the city of Hyderabad. Understand this? Hyderabad earlier was called Bhagyanagar, after a girl called Bhagyamati. So I believe there was a very beautiful girl, very poor girl. She was a blacksmith's daughter. Her name was Bhagyamati. Bhagyamati was very, very beautiful. She was the daughter of a blacksmith, a poor blacksmith. And two sultans, two brothers, two sultans wanted to marry her. They fought a war for her, battle for her. They fought a war for her, and it was Muhammad Kuli Qutub Shah who won this battle. So he went on to marry Bhagyamati, and he founded a city in her honor, in her memory or honor, and he called that city Bhagyanagar. Bhagyanagar. And this Bhagyanagar became Hyderabad later. This was a Kaun Banega Crorepati 1 crore question. On the hot seat, 1 crore question in Kaun Banega Crorepati when the topmost prize was 1 crore during those days. Now it is 7 crores, isn't it? Unfortunately, I was in my house, not on the hot seat. Otherwise, I would have won 1 crore. Okay, so please understand what I'm trying to tell you is when you're preparing for an exam like UPSC, you study so many subjects: history, economy, geography, current affairs, social issues, international relations, and so on and so forth. Nobody studies all these subjects except a UPSC candidate or somebody preparing for the UPSC and state services. So therefore, you are in a better chance to win such quiz programs. And the first person to win this quiz program was a UPSC candidate, Kaun Banega Crorepati. He never cleared the UPSC, but he got 1 crore because he won this program. So if you happen to, get a chance to prepare, participate in these quiz programs, topmost prize is 7 crores. So legally, it is difficult to earn so much of money if you become a bureaucrat. So try this quiz program, and if you win it, it's great. Okay. Are you there with me? Hello. So I'm not misguiding you. You be serious about UPSC and state services, but also try your luck in these quiz programs, right? And if you win it, you please give me a Guru Dakshina, small gift. Okay. Right. We move on here. So he built the city of Hyderabad and also the Charminar. Okay. Also the Charminar. This is the Charminar. So Muhammad Kuli Qutub Shah. Okay, fine. Then Muhammad Qutub Shah, he built the Makkah Masjid. He laid the foundation of the Makkah Masjid, and it was completed by Aurangzeb, Muhammad Qutub Shah. So the last king was, Abul Hasan Tanasha. He was defeated by Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb conquered Golconda, and he was taken as a prisoner, Abul Hasan Tanasha, and he died as a prisoner. And he has been buried at Kuldabad near Aurangabad. Later, Aurangzeb was also buried in Kuldabad. So Abul Hasan Tanasha was the last ruler of Hyderabad, the last ruler of Golconda kingdom. Then we come to the Eastern Gangas of Orissa. Eastern Gangas of Orissa, when as opposed to the Western Gangas of Talakadu. Western Gangas ruled Talakad near Mysore, whereas these are the Eastern Gangas who ruled Orissa. Their capital was Kalinga Nagari. They ruled between 11th and 13th centuries. Now they built a number of temples. You can see here on your screen Lingaraja temple at Bhubaneswar and the Jagannath temple at Puri. This was built by Anantavarman Chodaganga in the 11th century. So this is the Lingaraja temple at Bhubaneswar and the Jagannath temple at Puri, built by Anantavarman Chodaganga. Then Sun temple at Konark, built by Narasimhadeva in the 13th century, also called Black Pagoda. So we'll discuss about it when we do art and architecture. Sun temple at Konark. It is in a dilapidated condition. The shikara is crumbling. It's already crumbled actually, but then they have put sand. They have filled up sand from within, and the spire on the Garbhagriha is literally sitting on the sand, which has been filled up from within. So this was built by Narasimhadeva. This is designed like the chariot of the sun god. There are 12 chariots, 12 chariot wheels drawn by a team of 7 horses. There are 7 wheels, 6 on either side. Each wheel is 10 feet tall. And the circumference is 10 feet tall. It's a beautiful temple made of bricks. It is also called Black Pagoda. So the Sun Temple at Konark was built by Narasimhadeva. Then Shamir dynasty, which ruled Kashmir. They ruled from Alauddinpur as its capital, Alauddinpur, now called Srinagar. The most popular ruler was Zainul Abidin. Zainul Abidin is called the Akbar of Kashmir because of his tolerant policies. He's called the Akbar of Kashmir. He abolished jizya. He visited the Amarnath cave many times and prayed there in the temple in that Amarnath caves. He reconstructed a number of Hindu temples which had been demolished by his predecessors. So, and also he ordered the writing of the history of Kashmir from the 12th century AD onwards. There were 2 scholars in his court, Junavara and Sriraja. Junaraja and Srivara. They wrote the sequel to the Rajataragini. Rajataragini was written by Kalhana. So Kalhana's Rajataragini talks about the history of Kashmir till the 12th century, from ancient times to 12th century AD. Part 2 of the Rajataragini, from 12th to 16th century, was written by Junaraja and Srivara. They were in the court of Zainul Abidin of Kashmir. And he also built an artificial lake, an artificial island called Zainalanka. So within that artificial island called Zainalanka, he built this is in the midst of the Vular Lake. So this is the Vular Lake in Jammu. In the midst of this Vular Lake, he built an artificial island called Zainalanka and also built a palace and a mosque there within that island. Then the Sharki dynasty, which ruled Jaunpur, the Sharki dynasty. So Malik Sarwar was the founder. He was a governor under Firuz Tughlaq, and later when the last Tughlaq was ruling Delhi, that is Nasruddin Mahmud Tughlaq, during whose period Timur plundered Delhi. Timur the Lame. So the Malik Sarwar Sharki founded the independent kingdom of Jaunpur during that period, during the time of Nasruddin Muhammad Tughlaq. So he made Jaunpur his capital. The Hussain Shah Sharki, he was a notable Hindustani musician, and he created a number of melodies, I believe. Then we have Ibrahim Shah Sharki, who built the Atala Devi Mosque in Jaunpur. So this was a goddess temple converted into a mosque. So sometime in 1420 or so, this was made into a mosque. Ibrahim Shah Sharki was the one who did it. This is called the Atala Devi Masjid. So this was earlier a goddess temple converted, goddess temple of Atala Devi. So a local goddess called Atala Devi. This temple was converted into a mosque by Ibrahim Shah Sharki. Then we have the Ilyas Shahid kingdom. Ilyas Shahis, who ruled from Bengal. Founder was Shamsuddin Ilyas Shah, who revolted against Firuz Tughlaq. It had two capitals. The Ilai had two capitals. One was Panduva and the other was Gaur. So at Panduva, we have probably the largest Islamic building in India. That is the Adina Masjid with 400 domes. So this is the largest Islamic building in India. Adina Mosque, Adina Masjid at Panduva in Bengal. So that was one of the capitals of the Ilaha Shahi rulers of Bengal. So Adina Masjid, we'll talk about it. Probably largest Islamic building in India. This is the largest Islamic building in India. It has 400 domes. And then at Gaur, we have the Chota Sona Masjid and the Bada Sona Masjid. The greatest was Alauddin Hussain Shah of Bengal. Alauddin Hussain Shah. He founded, he patronized a number of scholars like Kasiram, who wrote the Mahabharata in Bengali, Krittivas Oja, who wrote Ramayana in Bengali, and Maladar Basu, who wrote Sri Krishna Vijaya. So, and also he honored Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was a Vaishnava scholar, was patronized by this king, Alauddin Hussain Shah of Bengal. Right? Then we have the Malwa Sultanate. They ruled from Mandu as their capital, Mandu, Malwa near Madhya Pradesh. So, and the Malwa Sultans built a number of monuments at Mandu. Jama Masjid, the tomb of Hushang Shah, then Hindola Mahal, which is a T-shaped palace. This is called the Hindola Mahal, probably built by Hushang Shah of Malwa. So Hushang Shah, this is the Hindola Mahal, or the swing palace as it's called. It has got sloping walls. So basically it was an audience chamber, the Hindola Mahal. Then Baz Bahadur Palace, Rup Jahaz Mahal. This is Jahaz Mahal in Mandu, built like a ship or a Jahaz. So this is called Jahaz Mahal at Mandu. Right? Then you have Baz Bahadur, one of the famous rulers of Malwa. He married Rupmati, who was a Hindu singer, and he was a devotee of Lord Krishna, I believe. This is Baz Bahadur. Gunjan, who was responsible for Ram Mandir case destruction in history? I told you, na Ayodhya Masjid. What is called in Ayodhya. You have the Babri Masjid, right? Babri Masjid is supposed to be built by Babur on the ruins of a Ram temple, and later you have the destruction of that masjid, and then again the reconstruction of a temple, a Ram temple in that premises. So who destroyed the Ram temple? Supposedly Babur. Supposedly Babur. Okay, that's why it's called Babri Masjid, right? Okay. Then we have the Ahom kingdom, which ruled Assam, and the word Assam is from the word Ahom. So Ahoms ruled Assam between the 13th and the 19th centuries. So the word Assom is from Ahom, and their history is called Burunjis. So the history of their period is called Burunjis. They have documented their history. Suhumung was the greatest of their kings. He was converted to Vaishnavism by Vaishnava scholar called Shankaradasa. So Shankaradasa converted himself to influenced him so much that Suhumung became a follower of Vaishnavism, and he took a new name, Swarga Narayana. So these are all factual information. I have dumped it here. Go through it. Then the Gujarat Sultanate, ruled by the Muzaffarid dynasty. That was the dynasty which ruled Gujarat, Muzaffarid dynasty. The founder was Zafar Khan, who revolted against Firuz Shah Tughlaq and founded the Muzaffarid dynasty. So Ahmad Shah founded the city of Ahmedabad and also the Teen Darwaza. He built the Teen Darwaza here. So shifted the capital from Anilwar to Ahmedabad, Ahmad Shah, and this is the Teen Darwaza. The Teen Darwaza, which has been inspired by the Charminar at Hyderabad. The Teen Darwaza at Ahmedabad, built by Ahmad Shah. Then Mahmud Shah Begara, who founded the cities of Girnar and Champaner, and later he died in a scuffle with the Portuguese, Mahmud Shah Begara. Then Faruqi dynasty, which ruled Khandesh in Madhya Pradesh. That was the dynasty, Faruqi dynasty. They had two capitals, Burhanpur and Asirgarh. And later Akbar conquered, this area, and he renamed it as Dandesh. So Khandesh became Dandesh. It was named after one of Akbar's sons, Prince Danial. So Danial was the one who conquered Khandesh, and a new name was given to Khandesh called Dandesh after Prince Danial, one of the sons of Akbar. Then Kachwaha dynasty, which ruled Amer. Amer is the old name of Jaipur, what we now call Jaipur. We have Bharamal Kachwaha. Bharamal Kachwaha, you remember, I have spoken about him. He was the one who came to Akbar and said he would want to give his daughter in marriage to Akbar. She was Harka Bai, who later became the mother to Jahangir, Salim, right? So she was given a new name, Maryam uz Zamani. Then we have Raja Bhagwan Das, the son of Bharamal Kachwaha. Then Bhagwan Das's son, Raja Mahan Singh and Raja Jai Singh, they all served under the Mughals. Then in the 18th century, Amer was ruled by Jai Singh II or Savai Jai Singh. Savai means second, Dvitiya, or Jai Singh II. And he founded the city of Jaipur, the pink city of Jaipur. He was an astronomer as well as a mathematician. He built a number of observatories. And the one at Jaipur is called Jantar Mantar, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So this is Jantar Mantar at Jaipur, built by Jai Singh II. So he built observatories at 5 places. Remember these 5 places: Jaipur, Delhi, Mathura, Varanasi, Ujjain. Then we have this the Amer Fort. This is the fort of Amer or Jaipur. Then the Rathore dynasty, which ruled Marwar. Jodhpur was the capital, and they had matrimonial relations with the Mughals. So Akbar is supposed to have married Jodhabai. Jodhabai was a princess of Jodhpur, and Jagat Gosain was married by Salim or Jahangir. So Jahangir is supposed to have married Jagat Gosain, though he made Nur Jahan his favorite queen later. And Jagat Gosain became the mother to the next emperor, Khurram. So Khurram, that is Shah Jahan, was born to Jagat Gosain and Jahangir. Are you there with me? No audio and video? Okay, Sharmi, no problem. You're able to hear me? Are you able to not see me also? Sakshi says there's no audio and video. Sakshi, please, what do you call, refresh your page. All good? Okay. Then we move on. The Sisodias of Mewar, the bravest of among the Rajput, the Sisodias, they ruled from Chittor as their capital, and they fought with the Mughals. We have Rana Kumbhakarna, who defeated the combined armies of Malwa and Gujarat. He built the Kirti Stamba at Chittor. This is the Kirti Stamba. We have discussed about it earlier. So he built the Kirti Stamba, and he built the Kumbhalgarh Fort, which has the second longest wall in the world. So this is the Kumbhalgarh Fort. You can see here. This is the Kumbhalgarh Fort built by Rana Kumbha, and this fort has a wall which is 32 kilometers in length, the second longest wall in the world after the Great Wall of China. Right, Rana Kumbhakarna. Then Rana Sangram Singh or Rana Sangha fought against Babur in the Battle of Kanua, and later died, because of the battle wounds. Rana Pratap fought against Akbar in the Battle of Haldighati. We have seen this. Rana Amar Singh, so successor of Rana Pratap, during his time, we have truce, peace between the Mughals and the Sisodias. So there was a treaty, a peace treaty which was signed. Then I have put a small note on Ahilya Bai Holkar. I have put a small note on Ahilya Bai Holkar. It was in the news some months back. So I put a note. She became the ruler of Malwa. And, Malwa, she administered Malwa. And you have a city called Maheshwar within Malwa, which became famous. And now it's also famous for saris called Maheshwari saris. Ahilya Bai Holkar is the lady who built or rebuilt the Kashi Vishwanath temple after more than a century. The Kashi Vishwanath temple was demolished on the orders of Aurangzeb. It was rebuilt by Ahilya Bai Holkar. Okay. So I've given all some details about Ahilya Bai Holkar. So let us look at the questions from this chapter, the last chapter of Medieval India, 1995. So let us, I know you have a webinar. Let us finish these questions. Which of the following monuments has a dome which is said to be one of the largest in the world? Such an easy question. The dome of Sher Shah Sasaram, Jama Masjid, the dome of Ghiyazuddin Tughlaq, Gol Gumbaz, Bijapur. Such an easy question. Second largest dome in the world, Bijapur. Okay, very good, Gima. Maheshwari is famous for Maheshwari saris. Okay. 1999 question. One of the consistent features found in the history of southern India was the growth of small regional kingdoms rather than large empires. Because of what? Why you have small kingdoms in South India, not large empires? Absence of minerals like iron, no. Too many divisions in the social structure. Absence of vast areas of fertile land. That's the answer. Absence of vast areas of fertile land. Not scarcity of manpower. That's the answer. 3. Match the following 2000 question. Ikta. Ikta what? Ikta Delhi Sultans. Jagir Mughals. Amaram Vijayanagara. And Mokasa Marathas. Such an easy question. Hello, are you there with me? Any doubts here? So the Nayakas under Vijayanagara, Nayakas. In second question, which how that is answer? Absence of vast areas of fertile land. Yes, Akshi, that is the answer because we only had, so we did not have vast areas of fertile land like in North India. Like for example, the Ganga, Yamuna, Doab, right? Vast areas of fertile land. Whereas in the south, only you have small river deltas, and fertility was only confined to that area, not throughout the length of the river. So that resulted in limited resources among the southern kings. They had limited. The main source of income was land revenue, and since you have limited fertile areas, the amount of income was also less. Therefore, they could keep a smaller army when compared to the kings of North India. Okay, did you get me that, Sakshi? Clear? That's the explanation. Hello, Sakshi. Okay. Let us look at the next question, 2003. Look at the question here. Assertion A. Salva Narasimha put an end to the old dynasty and assumed the royal title. Is it true? Salva Narasimha killed the last Sangama ruler, Proudadevaraya, and usurped the throne. That is correct. And assumed the royal title. That is right. Reason, he wanted to save the kingdom from further degeneration and disintegration. Nothing doing. He wanted to become king, that's all. He did not want to save the kingdom. So the answer is A is true, R is false. C is the answer. Yeah, that's called first usurpation. Very good, Ankush. That is called first usurpation. Yeah, A is true, R is false. Very good, Sudhanshu. Yogita. Then, not B. C is the answer. First statement is right, second statement is wrong. Okay, next question. Look at it. Look here, 2004. Narasimha Saluva, that is Saluva Narasimha, ended the Sangama dynasty and seized the throne for himself and started the Saluva dynasty. Yes or no? First usurpation, Saluva Narasimha or Narasimha Saluva, that is right. Second statement, Veera Narasimha deposed the last Saluva ruler and seized the throne for himself. That is also right. Veera Narasimha killed Immadi Narasimha, Narasimha II, isn't it? Veera Narasimha killed Narasimha II and usurped the throne and established the Tuluva dynasty. That is called second usurpation. Did you understand now? All of you, UPSC has asked this question. Look here. Then Veera Narasimha was succeeded by his younger brother Krishnadevaraya. Isn't it true? That is also right. Third statement. Krishnadevaraya was succeeded by his half brother Achyutaraya. That is also right. So which of the statements are correct? All the correct statements are correct. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you able to relate to the question and the explanation I gave you? So 1, 2, 3, 4 is the answer. All of you. Clear now? Okay. So now you know why I took some separate time and explained to you on the white paper. Right? So it stays in your head. Go back and revise. UPSC has asked a question. Then, where is the famous, look at this, how easy this question is, 2009 question. Where is the famous Virupaksha temple located? So, Bhadrachalam, Chidambaram, Hampi, Srikalahasti, Hampi. But then there is another Virupaksha temple at Pattadakkal also. Understand this. Pattadakkal is not there in the choice given in this question. But in Pattadakkal in Karnataka, we have another Virupaksha temple. Okay. So, another place is Pattadakkal, where we have a Virupaksha temple. But in this choice, it's Hampi. Clear? We have done Badami Chalukya. Chalukyas of Badami. You refer to your ancient Indian notes. Last chapter, Chalukyas of Badami. So one of the second greatest Chalukyan king was who? Vikramaditya II. Vikramaditya II's wife, one of his queens, Loka Mahadevi, built the Lokeshwara temple. Or the Virupaksha temple at Pattadakkal. So that is another place where we have another Virupaksha temple at Pattadakkal. Very good, Ankush. Loka Mahadevi, one of the queens of King Vikramaditya II of the Badami Chalukyas. Ankush, you have to revise your lessons. You're asking me who is Loka Mahadevi. I've already told you. when I did ancient India. Then 2015 question. Who of the following founded a new city on the south bank of a tributary to river Krishna and undertook to rule his new kingdom as the agent of a deity to whom all the land south of the river Krishna was supposed to belong? It is Harihara II. Tributary of the river Krishna is what? Tungabhadra. Tungabhadra, tributary of river Krishna. So the answer is Harihara I, who was the one who founded the Vijayanagara kingdom. Next, 2016 question. Regarding the taxation system of Krishnadevaraya, the ruler of Vijayanagar, consider the following statements. The tax rate on land was fixed depending on the quality of the land. That is right. There were different types of land based on different levels of fertility. So the tax was fixed accordingly depending upon the quality of the land. That is correct. Private owners of workshops paid an industries tax. That is correct. Industries tax, profession tax was there. Which of the statements are correct? Both 1 and 2 are correct. That is the answer. Right? Professional taxes, industries taxes were all there. Then building Kalyana, 2019 question. Building Kalyana Mandapas was a notable feature in the temple construction in the kingdom of Vijayanagara. Yeah, Vijayanagara. Then match the following by using the codes given below. Kingdom and dynasty. Khandesh, Faruqi dynasty, ruled Khandesh. Jaunpur, Sharki dynasty. Bengal, Ilyas Shah is ruled from Bengal. And Kashmir, Shamir. That's the answer. Okay, so remember the dynasties and the kingdoms they ruled. Name of the dynasty. That could be one type of question which the UPSC could ask. Who of the following wrote Raja Tarangini Part 2? It was Srivara and Janaraja. Srivara and Janaraja, 2 and 3's answer. They were under the king Zainul Abidin. They were working under Zainul Abidin. These two scholars, Srivara and Janaraja. Then match the following with regard to the translation of Mahabharata into various languages. Perundevana wrote Mahabharata in Tamil. Kashiram wrote the Mahabharata in Bengali language. Kashiram. Pampa in Kannada Mahabharata, and Saraldas in Oriya language. So these are the translators of Mahabharata in various languages. Next, which of the following pages is correctly matched? Niccolo Conti came during the rule of Devaraya the First, not Devaraya the Second. Therefore, this is wrong. Abdur Razak, Devaraya the Second, he came during the rule of Devaraya the Second, not Devaraya the First. So again, this is wrong. Domingo Paz came during the time of Krishnadevaraya, not Achyuta Devaraya. So this is also wrong. Duarte Eduardo Barbosa came during the rule of Krishnadevaraya. This is correct. Barbosa was from Portugal. That's the answer. Okay. Next. Match the following by using the codes given below. Adina Masjid. Adina Masjid is at Panduva, probably the largest Islamic building in India. Atala Devi Masjid is at Jaunpur. Chota Sona, Bada Sona Masjid is at Gaur. And Jama Masjid is at Mandu. That's the answer. Then last question, 2021. According to Portuguese writer Nunes, the women in Vijayanagara Empire were experts in which of the following areas? Wrestling, yes. Astrology, accounting, soothsaying. All the four. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the answer. For now, Nunes, in the chart I have given, go to the chart. With respect to foreign travelers, it is there. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the answer. 2022 question. In medieval India, the term fanam referred to what? It is coins. Vijayanagara coins, Partha, fanam, pagoda, they're all coins. So fanam is a coin. 1/10 of a partha is fanam, one of the gold coins issued by the Vijayanagara kings. Okay, so this is about Vijayanagara. When I come to literature topic, as part of art and culture, we will talk about this, Krishnadevaraya and his contribution towards literature. So this is the end of medieval India, right? This is the end of medieval India. So we will end here. Tomorrow we'll start art and culture. I'll give an overview and we'll begin with the first topic, religious movements, Buddhism, Jainism, etc. So tomorrow I'm beginning art and culture. No. Pagoda, no, that is called Black Pagoda. Black Pagoda because the Sun Temple is also called Black Pagoda. When I come to architecture, I'll talk about it, Sakshi. Okay, another word for Sun Temple is Black Pagoda. The Sun Temple at Konark. No, the Ankush, when they have asked about Krishnadevaraya, it was specifically with respect to literature, his contribution towards literature. Actually, it is an art and culture question from a topic called Indian literature. We will be discussing about Indian literature. From literature topics, they have asked many questions, and they have asked about Krishnadevaraya and his contribution towards literature. So they have not asked about his conquest and all that. They will not ask you about conquest. This is more of an art and culture question. Did you understand, Ankush? Yeah, 10 days. Mega, I'll take 10 days exactly to finish art and culture. 10 days. Okay, carry on. Good night. You have a great webinar and a good night's sleep. We'll meet tomorrow. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed medieval India and the stories. Random kings, they'll not ask you, something which is in the current affairs or which is relevant to some important topics in art and culture. When I do discuss art and culture, particularly Indian literature, I will talk about it, Ankush. Okay? Okay, carry on. Good night. You enjoy your webinar, have your dinner. We'll meet tomorrow. Thank you. I'm logging out. Read your textbook. Read your textbook, please. You have a weekend class. A weekend, there's no class, Saturday, Sunday. So finish off medieval India. Read one, have a good thorough reading of medieval India and finish it off in 2 days. Thank you. One reading.